861. Radiant translations. The remaining 3 people started cursing. They were used as bait to lure powerful robbery powers and help others refine their bodies. Would they die in peace? Little bastard. The golden-armored man was no longer able to remain calm. With an angry curse, a bolt of purple lightning struck his body, causing him to spit out a large mouthful of blood. Chen Zhang's clothes were tattered and his hair was a mess, but he was clearly unharmed. He laughed madly. I specially prepared this Nirvana Doom dinner for you, don't thank me, enjoy yourself. The Nirvana Doom of 6 people, and 5 of them were extremely strong. The Nirvana Doom they welcomed was definitely not weak. S current physical body was very strong, specifically aimed at his flesh. On the other hand, the bodies of the Feng clan and the warriors of the White Sea Imperial Land were not as strong as Chen Zhang's, so they could only use the innate chi to block. Other than crazily cursing Chen Shang in their hearts and mouths, there was nothing else they could do. If they killed Chen Shang as their master, the Nirvana Doom that they would face would become even stronger and they would be seen as interfering with the Nirvana Doom. From then on, they would receive even more ferocious attacks. A circumference of 5 kilometers was sealed off by the terrifying robbery power. It was extremely difficult to escape, and one could only leave after crossing Nirvana Doom. The violent thunder did not stop. It was concentrated and strong, because these robbery power were condensed above the Earth's core fire realm, causing the strong lightning to also contain a strong scorching energy. When it struck onto a person's body, it not only exploded with lightning, but also exploded into a large cluster of white flames. In merely a few moments, those few experts were all struck by the lightning, until they vomited blood. On the other hand, Chen Shang endured the pain as he was struck by the lightning, and at the same time, activated profound physical exercise to refine his body. Those few experts wanted to tear Chen Zhang's body into 1,000 pieces, and actually drag them into the Nirvana Doom. For uninvited guests like them, not only would their robbery power strengthen, they would also have to face a few trials and tribulations that were specifically aimed at them. When they had first entered, they had a haughty attitude and viewed Chen Shang as an ant. But now, in front of their Nirvana Doom, they were but mere mortals struggling on the brink of life and death. When they saw Chen Shang calmly sitting there while being struck by lightning and using the lightning to temper his body, they were so angry that they nearly vomited blood. But what made them furious was that every time Chen Shang was struck by the lightning and his entire body was covered in blood, he would recover at a speed that could be seen with the naked eye. They were jealous of this ability. They wanted to rush over and mince Chen Shang into minced meat, but they could not get distracted now, otherwise, they would be burnt to ashes by the heavenly thunder. Their souls would be destroyed. Little bastard, quickly stop cultivating. You will only cause the heavens to become angry if you use the power of your Nirvana Doom to strengthen yourself. The power of your Nirvana Doom will become even stronger, and you will cause our deaths. The golden-armored man let out a roar. His golden armor already had a few holes on it. Chen Shang endured the pain and laughed madly. Just what I wanted to kill all of you, who told you to kill me? The Nirvana Doom became more and more terrifying. The dense purple lightning was like a torrential rain, crackling and crackling as they continuously struck down. That destructive aura spread throughout the entire Earth's core fire realm, and even people outside the Earth's core fire realm could feel it. It was originally just thunder and lightning, but now it had been struck down by fire and thunder together. The purple flame thunder had turned into a white flame thunder, and now there was a faint golden color. Golden flames. That's a place that even immortals wouldn't dare to enter. An old man saw the pale golden flame thunder and moaned in despair. The faces of these 5 experts were all filled with despair, fury, and fear. The person who forced them into such a predicament was right before their eyes, yet they couldn't kill him. Chen Shang saw that the faces of these 5 people were ashen, their eyes brimming with an aura of death. The despair and fear they revealed made him couldn't help but laugh out loud. Who said I was an ant? Ha ha, what are all of you who were killed by ants? You are even inferior to insect ants. After Chen Shang finished speaking, he was struck in the head by a thick pure gold fire lightning. If it was an ordinary person, they would have already been reduced to ashes. However, his body was only cracked open from head to toe. The sight of it made one's heart palpitate with fear. Just how powerful was his physical body? From the beginning till the end, Chen Shang had never used his innate chi to resist the heavenly lightning, only using his terrifying physical body. The eyes of the 5 rankers reddened in anger. They could imagine that Chen Shang had waited for them intentionally, then triggered the Nirvana Doom of these 6 terrifying rankers, then used the Nirvana Doom to temper his body. Chen Shang had actually used their lives to temper their bodies. This made all of them feel a sense of hatred, as if they had been eliminated. They had lived for so long, and had this kind of strength and position that many people admired, but in the end, they had become the sacrifices of a little ghost. They were unwilling to die just like that. This would only make them die a useless death. Even if I die, I will kill you. We definitely will not let you succeed. The golden-armored middle-aged man roared. Chen Shang smiled slightly. I can send you guys on your way now. You have given me great help in attracting this powerful Nirvana doom. I will not let you all die without a complete corpse. I will chop off your heads and send them back. This is the honor you deserve, haha. The 5 experts were covered in wounds. They had eaten a lot of relived DNS, but it was to no avail, because the Nirvana doom was too terrifying. In a blink of an eye they had used up all of their innate chi, so their bodies were not able to resist. The dense amount of golden fire bolts came in wave after wave, and would break apart during this period of time. Chen Shang took this opportunity to fly over, summoned his green dragon demon slain broadsword, and like slashing grass, he decapitated the 2 elders. Green dragon demon slain broadsword. The elders of the ancient powers all knew how powerful this blade was. They really wanted it, but now, they had no choice but to die under this blade. You all died a useless death. This is a divine knife, rest in peace. Chen Shang laughed. If you do not attack me and stay in your power, then you will definitely live for a long time. You can only blame yourself for not listening to my master's warning. My master's warning is not that he will deal with you, but that you have to bear my endless revenge. Chen Shang said indifferently and chopped off the heads of the 3 people. After putting away the heads of these 5 people, an even more terrifying wave of golden fire bolts descended and crazily struck his body. Right now, he was the only one who could endure the attacks from the Nirvana doom. If he was even the slightest bit careless, he would die. The golden flames were powerful enough to almost make him release his profound WU diamond armor to resist, but now was a good opportunity. If he succeeded, he would be able to win with his immortal devil body. Feng Clan, White Sea Imperial Land. Just you wait. The first thing I'll do after I get out is to make you regret doing what you did today. Chen Shang said coldly in his heart. 862. He kept the heads of the 5 experts for future face-smacking purposes. He kept the heads of the 5 experts for future face-smacking purposes. The next wave of tribulation lightning is coming. Hurry up and put away the 2 scattered fire souls. Bai Yu said in an urgent voice. First, feel those fire soul, and then circulate and absorb them. Out of the 5 experts who had died, 2 of them were Dan King, with fire soul. Their bodies were completely destroyed by the divine lightning, but the fire soul was still there. This was the white-colored fire soul, and those fire soul would not immediately disperse. They were all gathered together by the hot air that was being released from this place. When Chen Shang released his consciousness, he immediately felt the fire soul hidden within the white fire soul. All of these fire soul turned into powder and floated in the air, crazily devouring the white fire soul. He followed Bai Yu's instructions and activated devouring magic Kung Fu, sucking in the 2 scattered fire soul and sealed them in his dantian. To deal with the fire soul, he had become familiar with the route and easily completed it. The 2 Dan King's fire soul were not too good, and after the 2 fire soul fused together, it was also only cyan. Boom, boom, boom. The golden fire lightning descended, because he was the only one here. The tribulation lightning was all by himself, but after continuously striking down, dozens of lightning bolts would be released every moment, crazily smashing down from above his head, burning his entire body black, as if everything was going to be smashed apart. This went on for a while longer before he fell to the ground. His entire body had turned into charred carbon. There were many shocking cracks on his body, and there was the smell of burnt flesh. Fortunately, his physical body was very strong, and after being struck by the golden lightning, his body did not turn into ashes. Furthermore, the Yulong blood and bone soul in his body were producing a strange power to repair themselves, and his charred black skin slowly fell off, creating a new skin. The lightning came in wave after wave, and there were gaps in between them, allowing him to gain time to recover. Don't you have a shui lei pearl? If you take it out and eat it, this kind of powerful golden fire tribulation is something that is rarely seen. You should take this opportunity to refine the thunder soul in your body. Su Meiyao said. That shui lei pearl was obtained when he and Su Meiyao had entered the bloody Thunder Mountain Sea and killed a powerful shui lei. He turned it over, swallowed it, and then used his power to refine it. The shui lei energy within the shui lei pearl gushed out, fusing into his body and nourishing the Thunder Soul. You should try fusing the Thunder Soul and the Heaven Fire Soul. This way, you will be able to increase the power of your lightning and thunder. Bai Yuyu said. Bai Yuyu and Su Meiyao had cultivated for many years, so some of their suggestions were still very useful. Chen Shang did as he was told, attempting to fuse Thunder Soul and Heaven Fire Soul. Fire and lightning both possessed terrifying power, and when the two were combined, he could release these two types of innate qis more easily in the future. Just as he was about to give it a try, golden fire bolts descended from the sky and bombarded his body. Every wave contained hundreds of lightning bolts, making him dizzy and disoriented. Damn it, they snatched the Thunder Soul away. Chen Shang cried out in alarm. The Fire Dragon Kung Fu Soul was still growing and he rarely used it, but he could feel that the Fire Dragon Kung Fu Soul was devouring that Thunder Soul. What surprised him was that the Fire Dragon Kung Fu Soul, as if it had a spiritual nature, actually released a strange power, allowing the Thunder Soul to crazily absorb the energy from the Shui Lei's Pearl and allowing the Thunder Soul to absorb the energy from the Golden Thunder. Chen Shang, who had been charred black, was wrapped in a golden light as the Thunder Soul turned golden and slowly fused into the Fire Dragon Kung Fu Soul. Moreover, the fusion speed was very fast. All of this wasn't something he could control. His body suddenly spewed out a golden light. A golden mist began to surge out from his charred skin as he let out a dragon's roar. This is not the Fire Dragon Kung Fu Soul, but the legendary 5 Elements Dragon Soul is the same as your master's. I should have long thought that when humans cultivate the Taiji Dragon suppressed Kung Fu, they would be able to produce 5 Elements Dragon Souls, but you have the Fire Soul in your body, so when the martial spirit was born, it was a Fire Dragon Kung Fu Soul. Long Shui said in shock. Chen Zhang's 5 Elements Dragon Soul could help him obtain beautiful rainbow dragon scales. Chen Shang also yearned for it, but because he himself had the Fire Soul, his martial soul was born with an accident, becoming a Fire Dragon Kung Fu Soul that was biased towards the fire element. Before his body could recover, the golden fire lightning in the sky suddenly came over. This time, the lightning tribulation lasted even longer, but what Chen Shang did not expect was that his mutated martial spirit was crazily swallowing the golden fire lightning. His martial spirit was rapidly strengthening, his body was also constantly strengthening. At this time, he was frantically activating the profound Wu physical exercise, using all kinds of energy in his body to gather and refine his body. The tribulation lightning no longer stopped and slashed down crazily, while Chen Zhang's self-recovery rate became faster and faster. At this moment, not only was Chen Zhang's body tempered, his soul was also strengthened. His body, soul, martial spirit, and fire soul were being baptized by the Nirvana Doom. The final terrifying robbery power was released at once, and without stopping, he released the golden-colored flame lightning that bombarded Chen Shang. This continued for more than an hour. The condensed robbery power in the air had already dissipated. Chen Zhang's body was wrapped around by a golden dragon that was as thick as a thigh, which released the power of fire thunder, permeating into his body and helping his immortal devil body reach large success. The second Nirvana tribulation had already passed, and the power of giving crazily surged into his body. He channeled his energy and used it to create the Junyuan granule, allowing his dantian to contain more of the stronger innate qi. The body tempering hadn't ended yet, and the Fire Thunder Dragon's soul was circling around his body, releasing the absorbed thunder energy and refining his body. A large amount of white flame was blown away by an aura. Chen Zhang's entire body shone with a golden light, and every time it flickered, it would release an invisible force, shaking off the powerful white flames beside him. Large success of Immortal Devil Body, successful passing the second Nirvana tribulation. A small golden dragon swooped down from the sky and smashed headfirst into the top of his head, entering his body. At this time, the golden glow on his body had already disappeared, revealing a perfect and robust body. He clenched his fist as he felt the immense power he had just received, making him extremely excited. The blood in his body burned, releasing a boiling energy that made the surrounding white flames not dare to approach. This was the imposing manner produced by mastering Immortal Devil Body, causing the white fire to not even dare to approach. He changed into a set of black clothes and retrieved the cyan fire soul from his dantian. He placed it inside a pearl and then, with a light leap, it shot through the white fire domain like a rainbow and instantly disappeared into the sea of fire. After leaving the Earth's core fire realm, he did not immediately look for the White Sea Imperial Land and Feng clan. Instead, he hid in a place and prepared to cultivate the heaven-earth killing method. 863. Within a very remote third-rate inn in Dan City. Within a very remote third-rate inn in Dan City. Most of the elder brother Shen-s have not appeared yet. Could it be that there was a problem during the Nirvana Doom crossing? Yun Xiaodao paced around the hall, feeling very worried. Zhu Rong shook his head. Younger brother Shen is fine, we might be cultivating in seclusion, so let's continue searching for the white flame heavenly horse. I heard that it is still in the forest. We have offended the Peach Blossom Prince, and we met him inside. Perhaps, the war will start again. The Heavenly Sons and Heavenly Maiden are all looking for that white flame heavenly horse. Lian Mingdong said. What's there to be afraid of? Whoever comes to cause trouble for us will be killed. Last time, it wasn't to chase after that white flame heavenly horse, we must kill him. Xiao Chao's face was full of indifference. It wasn't hard for them to kill one of the Son of Heaven if they joined hands, but if they fought him alone, they would only be able to slip away. Since they couldn't get the spar, they could only walk if they wanted to return to Super Martial School. Catching White Flame Heavenly Horse was the only way to quickly obtain a large number of it. There was another way, and that was to follow Chen Shang. Chen Shang could always find ways to make them pay, although it was easier to offend people. Just as these hooligans were chatting casually, XB Weilong walked in. He was in charge of gathering information from the Pill City, and when Yun Xiaodao and the others saw his expression, they knew that he had good news. Feng Clan and White Sea Imperial Land have withdrawn their bounty orders for Chen Shang. XB Weilong's words caused the expressions of Zhu Rong, Yun Xiaodao and the others to change. There were only two reasons to cancel the bounty. One was that the person who placed the bounty was already dead, and the other was to reconcile. But the second reason was definitely impossible. When Chen Shang killed the Son of Heaven of the two families and all the elders, it was impossible for White Sea Imperial Land and White Sea Imperial Land to negotiate with Chen Shang. But right after it was revoked, a new one was added. No need to kill Chen Shang, you only need to provide clues and you will be able to obtain 50 relived DANs. XB Weilong said coldly. Yun Xiaodao heaved a sigh of relief, and then scolded, "Blinded dragon, can't you finish your words at one go? This is so scary." Quote. How could Chen Shang die so easily? XB Weilong coldly snorted. Xiao Chou laughed out loud. Of course my master won't die so easily, but looking at how much of a change has occurred in the bounty, my master must have killed quite a few of their experts, haha, this is so satisfying. Quote. Who exactly did he kill? A single relive Dan could be auctioned off for at least 5 billion. If someone is in urgent need, 10 billion will not be a problem, frowned. He had been taken back by Lian Yingxiao to be nurtured for a period of time, his strength and position had both increased, and now he was seen as the successor to the Peach Blossom Island Master. We'll know when we check it out. Let's move out together. Maybe we'll also be targeted by others right now. Yun Xiaodao said. Go, capture the White Flame Heavenly Horse. With the spar, everything will be fine. Zhu Rong said. Although everyone's face was gloomy, they still followed Zhu Rong. They had once come into close contact with White Flame Heavenly Horse, and every time they saw it coming, the White Flame Heavenly Horse would always escape at its fastest speed. Feng Clan and White Sea Imperial Land all knew that the 5 rankers they sent were all dead. Although they couldn't confirm that Chen Shang was the one who killed them, they felt that Chen Shang would definitely not be able to escape from them. Therefore, they gave more bounties to Chen Shang in order to catch him and find out the reason for his death. One must know that 2 of the Dan Kings were in possession of Fire Soul, so losing 2 Dan Kings was a huge loss to them. Of course, they did not know what had caused them such heavy losses yet. They had angered Chen Shang, and sent their seniors to deal with him time and time again. Chen Shang was at the bottom of an abyss. The spirit energy here was thin and there were very few beasts. He carved a cave on the stone wall beneath the abyss and studied the heaven-earth killing method. The heaven-earth killing method was engraved on a stone tablet and was densely packed. Without the small words carved on top of the fingernails, there were tens of thousands of words. Without a powerful consciousness, one would not be able to see these words. How do you want to learn it? Sister Mei Yao, Sister Yu Yu, do you guys have any leads? Quote. Chen Shang stared at the stone tablet that was releasing the ancient qi, and frowned. He did not know how to make a move. Although he could see the countless small characters, they were all in reading form, and could not be linked together at all. Even if he used hundreds of them, it would not be a mental cultivation method. We don't know either. We've been studying for a long time, but we haven't got a clue. Long Shui sighed. Don't tell me I have to cooperate with the Killing Heart. Junior sister, do you remember that when you were cultivating Killing Heart to the large success stage, Master started to help you find this heaven-earth killing method? Bai Yu said. Of course I do, but he couldn't find it for a long time. Su Meiyao said excitedly. Little scoundrel, try to use the Killing Heart to release the murderous aura. I have lost all my strength, so I have not tried it yet. Chen Shang took a small breath and activated the Killing Heart, releasing all the killing intent he had accumulated over the years into the stone tablet. Unknowingly, he closed his eyes and pressed his hands against the stone tablet. The words on the stone tablet emitted a white glow and then began to move around the stone tablet like ants, arranging themselves in a new order. Seeing this scene, Su Meiyao and the others were extremely excited. This heaven-earth killing method had always been a powerful body in the legends. If Chen Shang were to learn it, his strength would definitely increase by a lot. After the brat on the monument was arranged properly, he actually acted like he was alive, slowly climbing onto Chen Zhang's arms, and then entering Chen Zhang's chest. Chen Zhang's killing intent continued to be released, and like a wild dragon, it soared into the sky from the abyss. Fortunately, the place Chen Shang chose was very remote and he was also in the abyss, so not many people had any idea about it. Chen Shang, who was sitting quietly on the ground, had many spectacular images appear in his mind. There were towering gigantic mountains, and these gigantic mountains were divided into ice mountains, volcanoes, thunder-entangled thunder mountains, glittering gold mountains, and very ordinary stone mountains. All sorts of magnificent mountains flashed through his mind. Following which, countless raging, surging rivers and mountains appeared in his mind. The imposing force formed by these rivers was extremely shocking, followed by the appearance of the moon, and countless stars in his mind. All these things were nurtured by the heaven and earth. What Chen Shang saw were scenes from when the heaven and earth was just born, and then, he saw some strange ancient beasts, including some huge dragons and huge birds. Every one of them looked like a huge mountain. After the death of these strange beasts, they merged with the mountains and rivers, their flesh and blood nourishing the earth, allowing the heaven and earth to contain even more dense spirit energy. 864. Is this the heaven-earth killing method? Simulate the birth of all life in the universe to attack? Or is it to let all that is born in the world be for your own use? Chen Shang pondered. He felt that all sorts of majestic mountains and rivers, all sorts of beasts and sun, moon and stars, could be used as attacks in his mind. This heaven-earth killing method encompasses everything. He had previously tried to use his power to condense a large mountain to attack them. The effect was indeed very good, and it was one of the heaven-earth killing methods, but the real heaven-earth killing method was stronger. When he was in the sacred Dan realm, he met a starry sky white tiger race named Bai Xing. Then, Bai Xing could summon stars, which was also present in the heaven-earth killing method. Summoning the stars in the sky to descend was the starry sky white tiger race's innate ability, and the starry sky white tiger race was also born from the heaven and earth, so the heaven-earth killing method also had such a strong power. Now, Chen Shang understood why the heaven-earth killing method was so powerful. It was the result of being the ancestor of tens of thousands of cultivators in the world. Right now, Chen Zhang's heaven-earth killing method was teaching him how to turn his own strength into a great river, sun, moon and stars, reversing the heavens and the earth. This was an extremely profound art. But entering the sect requires one condition, and that is to be able to control the killing aura that is difficult for ordinary people to control. The power possessed by the heaven and earth could kill a large number of creatures at any time. Moreover, over the course of countless years, the number of creatures that the heaven and earth had killed was innumerable. The heaven-earth killing method taught people how to learn how to kill with the heavens and earth. It taught people how to grasp the power of the heavens and earth while killing with the intention to control mountains and rivers. What a pity, only the ground killing is related to the earth domain. Chen Shang sighed, and opened his eyes, but the words on the stone tablet had already completely entered his mind. Those mental cultivation methods had already fused with his soul. What exactly is the heaven-earth killing method? Su Meiyao asked curiously. When she was young, her master had already been running around for the heaven-earth killing method for many years, but she and her master had never known how powerful it was. Chen Shang let out a long sigh. At this time, he was still immersed in the shock brought to him by the heaven-earth killing method. They were all an antique, especially Long Shui. Although she was still young, the memories she had were inherited from many of the antiques in the Imperial Dragon race, and even she could not help but sigh at them. 2 parts in all. Where is the celestial slain method? Bai Yu said. Chen Zhang's face revealed a strange expression. There are 5 in total, which are the ground killing, the celestial slain method, the beast slain method and the god slain method. The last one is the alive slain method. It can let everything be reborn, and is slightly different from the other 4 parts of the killing technique. I think the dragon cohesion kung fu should be related to the life arts. Quote. There were actually 5 tribes, Su Meiyao and the others were shocked. Earth slaughter should be earth, heaven slaughter was earth and moon star, beast slaughter was a beast type, god slaughter should be a spirit type beast. As for the alive slain method, it could actually regenerate all living things and create new life, but no one would find it strange when they think about it, because it was also a method that could cause the death of all living things. The ground killing is the entrance, it contains many things, I can't finish learning it in a short time, there's still a long way to go. Although Chen Shang really wanted to find all the heaven-earth killing methods, it was useless being anxious right now. There's no killing technique like controlling time or space. Long Shui anxiously asked. It was the most powerful, although time and space could be controlled through a few array formations, but they still had to rely on external forces, especially under such a stable environment, it was impossible to not rely on a few array formations. As for time, that was something even more difficult. Many time formations were very precious and they had consumed a lot of energy. There is, but that is not within the scope of the heaven-earth killing method. It is a law-killing technique. The ground killing mentioned it before. Chen Shang immediately said, but all of them were lost. If there really was such a formidable law-killing technique, then what kind of power would there be if he could control time and space? Does this ground killing have the whereabouts of the other parts? Bai Yu asked. Chen Shang laughed bitterly. I have mentioned it before, it's all in 10 Heavens Supreme Lord's tomb. I don't want to go to that damned place a second time. Although the ground killing mentioned that after one controls the ground killing, entering the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord's tomb will be much safer, but there will still be danger. Quote. Looks like those ancient powers know that the heaven-earth killing method can easily approach the Emperor's tomb. No wonder they went all out. Su Meiyao said seriously. Try your best to not let those ancient powers know that you have learned the ground killing. The situation inside the rough and random profound land is very complicated, and the countless lion mountains are very scary and strange. If I have the help of this ground killing, I can very easily enter, but I need to master it first. Chen Shang had already decided to enter the Emperor's tomb to collect the other parts of the heaven-earth killing method. Taiji Dragon suppressed Kung Fu, 4-phase magic Kung Fu, and profound Wu physical exercise should have all evolved from a part of the heaven-earth killing method. The 4-phase magic Kung Fu has a part of the beast slain method, and the dragon cohesion Kung Fu has a part of the dragon cohesion Kung Fu. The 9-turn dragon god mantra could be the god slain method, so the primordial imperial dragon race should have a part of it. Chen Shang said. Perhaps, although I am also an imperial dragon race, but according to my inherited memories, our white dragon ancestors also do not know much about the imperial dragon race. Long Shui said. Right now, Chen Shang was starting to comprehend the ground killing, comprehending the natural circulation of the earth, which would allow him to understand how to use the myriad of living things produced by the earth to attack. He sat in silence for 3 days before opening up his palm and channeling the innate qi inside his body. The innate qi was used by his palm and condensed into a rock. He removed the metal innate qi and added the water innate qi, turning it into an ice stone. What I need to do now is to find an ancient mountain, a mountain that has existed for many years and has not been destroyed. As long as I can see the natural laws of the land from this mountain, then I will be able to imitate the aura of that mountain and learn how to circulate the power of that mountain. Chen Shang left the abyss and floated in the air, looking down at the earth. At this time, everything on the ground was so clear in his eyes, and he could see things that others couldn't see, such as the way the natural power released from the ground caused everything on the ground to revolve, and the way to produce the destructive power. He could already vaguely make out some spirit grain from the mountains and rivers above. It was the trajectory of the circulation of the natural power. 865. Is this the power of the earth? Very powerful. Chen Shang looked down at the ground, and looked at the mountains and rivers that were naturally formed, as images of these mountains and rivers began to surface in his mind. This land once stood above the 9 heavens and was known as the 10th heaven. Later on, it was divided into countless small worlds, but in the end, it was not destroyed. Chen Shang could feel the terrifying power of this land right now. Even though it had once declined, no one could conquer it. He floated in the air, feeling the pressure of the earth, Clenching his fists tightly, a towering mountain shadow suddenly appeared behind him, an invisible aura overflowing from him, but it only lasted for a short period of time, before the majestic mountain shadow disappeared. It's very difficult to learn, the heaven-earth killing method can only be grasped through comprehension, it's not something that can be learned in a day or two. Chen Shang sighed lightly, he had only touched the edge, but this allowed him to unleash a very strong power. Chen Shang felt that his own realm was not enough, and was unable to comprehend the ground killing. According to the description on the ground killing, to completely master the ground killing, he first had to understand the spirit grains in the earth, and feel the spirit lines contained within from the rivers and mountains, in order to be able to unleash the power of the earth. Right now, he could vaguely feel that the spirit grain on the ground was operating, but it had not reached the stage where he could see it all. As for what to do, the ground killing did not explain, he only wanted him to comprehend it. This feeling is very familiar. Chen Shang frowned slightly as he looked at the verdant mountains in the distance. There was a large forest there. It's that damnable Ji Meixian woman. Long Shui snorted. When are you going to bring her in and help us wash our feet? Chen Shang floated to the ground and muttered, after Ji Meixian's soul awakened, she has recovered the memory of the heaven realm that year. She has an innate strong spiritual sense, so she should be able to easily sense the spirit grain that the earth naturally contains. Quote, of course, otherwise she would not be so strong in the heaven realm, the skills she uses in battle are indeed very natural, it must be because she used that spirit perception to comprehend the heavens and earth, this woman is truly strong. I'm very curious to know who was the one who perished. Su Meiyao said. Chen Shang immediately released a pair of small Suzaku fire wings, flying towards Ji Meixian. Your little bald disciple and that damn fatty are over there. They seem to be fighting. Long Shui used the heaven tour method, and his consciousness immediately flew over. Zhu Rong and the rest were indeed there. He had also seen Chen Shang using the heaven tour method, but he did not expect them to actually catch the white flame heavenly horse. This white flame heavenly horse had a white fire soul, it was indeed very precious and valuable, but it had its own master. Although Wu Qianchen said that this white flame heavenly horse was her friend, it meant that she had already subdued it. It seems like this bunch of fellows have gone mad from poverty. Chen Shang shook his head and laughed, then increased his speed and flew over. Yun Xiaodao and the others finally managed to catch a priceless white flame heavenly horse, but the heavenly sons and daughters of the heavens came out at this time, wanting to snatch the white flame heavenly horse. No one would have been moved by the white flame heavenly horse worth hundreds of billions of spar, not to mention the fact that the heavenly maiden and the son of heaven had been searching for this horse for a long time. Now that they saw that it had fallen into the hands of those ruffians, they were very unwilling to give up so easily. The Peach Blossom Prince had even more of a reason now, because he was previously disfigured by the combined attacks of these ruffians. His entire body was paralyzed, and it was not because the Peach Blossom Imperial Land had given him some pills to consume, but rather because he was still lying in bed. Why are you surrounding us? Yun Xiaodao looked at the people around him. The heavenly lady of the Qin family and the heavenly son were both dressed in black, and dressed very simply. They were both staring at the white flame heavenly horse which was covered by the golden net. When Ji Meixian and Feng Yuhe were together, White Sea Imperial Land and Feng Clan had a good relationship with each other. Because they hated the super martial school very much, they had already secretly teamed up with him. Beside them were two handsome men. They were the chosen sons of heaven that had just been selected by White Sea Imperial Land and White Sea Imperial Land, and their strengths were no weaker than the two sons of heaven that had died earlier. The main purpose of these two new heaven's chosen sons was to kill Chen Shang and establish their prestige. This would allow their position to be more stable and their prestige to rise. She had no intention to make a move, she had never wanted to provoke Chen Shang. This was also what her mother had instructed her to do when she left the Peach Blossom Imperial Land, but now that she thought about Chen Shang wanting her to become a female slave, she felt a little angry. Xiaodao, don't you know the manners of this group of people? All the good things in the world belong to them, and looking at their faces, you can tell that they want to snatch the white flame heavenly horse away. Xiao Chou said coldly, he had already prepared for battle, and no matter what, he would not hand over the white flame heavenly horse, they did not want to walk back to super martial school. Zhu Rong shouted, you are all people with status, you are noble heavenly sons and daughters, you cannot be so shameless, if you want to fight, you have to fight, do you want to bully the young with numbers? Jing Xingliang really wanted to spit on Zhu Rong's face. Last time, it was just Zhu Rong and the others who were shameless and did not even hit him, causing a group of people to gang up on him. You still have the nerve to choose a bill of lading? Scholar, isn't your father the island master of Lotus Island? Quickly reveal your father's name. If these guys surround us, this white flame heavenly horse will be taken away. Zhu Rong said in a low voice. They won't eat this. Didn't you say before that you're a coward to go out and mention your own father's name? Lian Mingdong said in a low voice. But the situation now is different. Zhu Rong looked at the furious Jing Xingliang, his heart feeling somewhat apprehensive. Both of Xiao Chao's fists were condensed with terrifying god powers, releasing waves of golden light. His voice was cold. The one who has enmity with us here is only this white-faced monkey. What do you mean by surrounding us? When Jing Xingliang heard the 3 words, white-faced monkey, once again, the anger in his heart could no longer be suppressed. With an explosive roar, he took a step forward until Xiao Chou became even stronger, and chopped towards Xiao Chao's shining skull. Protect the heavenly horse, Xiao Chou bellowed, his body releasing a burst of gold light, forming a translucent golden bell, which enveloped him in an instant. When Jing Xingliang's palm struck the bell, his terrifying power actually dissipated into the bell, becoming a clear and melodious bell sound that shook the earth. 866. The two sides finally started fighting. The heavenly son of heaven had also chosen to take action. They wanted to snatch the white flame heavenly horse. Just as Feng Clan's heavenly girl Feng Yuhe was about to snatch the heavenly horse, a head suddenly dropped from the sky. Seeing the head that rolled down, Feng Yuhe and the new heaven child of the Feng clan immediately screamed in fear. This was the head of one of their Feng clans. After Dan King was sent to capture Chen Shang, he did not come back, and now that his own head was here, it meant that the person who killed Dan King was here. The person who killed the Dan King was very likely Chen Shang. As long as Ji Meixian sensed that she was nearby, she would not attack. Amongst these people, the person who hated Chen Shang the most was probably her. Not only had she been played by Chen Shang with that clean and pure ice jade body, she was even lost a key part of her protective immortal robe. As long as she saw Chen Shang, she would have liked to pinch him to death, but she could not, and she did not have enough strength. Chen Shang threw heads out one after another. These were the 5 experts that Chen Shang had killed earlier that day in the White Fire domain. Among them, 2 were Dan King. Chen Shang. Feng Yuhe shouted loudly, his voice was filled with fear. Amongst the 5 heads, 3 of them were from Feng clan, and 1 of them was from Dan King. However, all of them had been chopped off by Chen Shang. The new son of the White Sea Imperial Land was also panic-stricken. The Dan King was one of the most influential forces in the ancient times, but now his head had been chopped off by someone. Hee, why are you calling me? Do you want to be my slave? With a wave of his hand, he kept the 5 heads. He felt that using these heads to attack White Sea Imperial Land and the other 2 Feng clan was a very satisfying thing. Seeing that Chen Shang had arrived, some people were happy while others were sad. Yun Xiaodao and the others were obviously all smiles. Jing Xingliang and Xiao Chou also stopped. Jing Xingliang glared at Chen Shang fiercely. As long as he could obtain Chen Zhang's divine blade, his strength would increase by a lot. Did you kill the Dan King of our Feng clan? Feng Yuhe's jade face turned cold. She held onto the sword hilt and pointed the sword tip at Chen Shang. They came to throw their lives away. They are all senior figures, but they actually tried to ambush me while I was undergoing my tribulation. You old fart powers are nothing special after all. Chen Shang laughed. If others were to make a move when undergoing tribulation, not only would they harm others, they would also make themselves suffer. However, if the Chen Shang in front of them did not die, those few old fellows were also dead. When Chen Shang went through the tribulation in the demon realm that day, his entire ancient wasteland devil sect had already declined. Now, he used the same method to kill off a few of the great figures of Feng clan and Feng clan. How embarrassing. 5 old fellows went to assassinate a little kid. I didn't think that their heads would be chopped off in the end. Haha, this is great news. Zhu Rong laughed, making the expressions of the Feng clan and the heavenly sons of the White Sea Imperial Land turn even uglier. They wanted to take this damn fatty to squeeze more oil from him. You sent 5 old fellows to kill elder brother Shen. Now that these 5 old fellows are dead, are you going to blame elder brother Shen? Do I allow you to kill people and not allow others to rebel? Is there something wrong with your heads? Yun Xiaodao sneered. Humans are the kind that people hate the most. Now, I understand why humans like them are so arrogant and strong. It's because they are very shameless. Tang Ying said. If news of Chen Shang killing two of the Dan Kings got out, it would definitely cause a huge sensation in Dan City. Furthermore, he would ruthlessly slap the White Sea Imperial Land and the Feng clan in the face. If there's nothing else, then we'll be taking our leave. Chen Shang clasped his hands at the Heavenly Suns and was about to turn around. Leave the white flame heavenly horse behind. The one who spoke was the son of the Qin family, Qin Mang. Chen Shang looked at him, shook his head, and sighed. I don't have any huge grudges with the Qin family. If you repeat what you said just now, White Sea Imperial Land and Feng clan will be the previous examples of your Qin family. Leave the white flame heavenly horse behind. This time, the one who spoke was actually Jing Xingliang, but the moment he finished, he received a fierce glare from Mu Jialan. Does your Peach Blossom Imperial Land have enmity with me? Chen Shang frowned as he looked at Jing Xingliang. My Peach Blossom Imperial Land is not afraid of your super martial school. Jing Xingliang sneered. He cannot represent the Peach Blossom Imperial Land. Mu Jialan didn't dare to provoke Chen Shang, and because of a small conflict between him and the Feng clan, it ended up like this. From start to finish, the ones who suffered the most were the White Sea Imperial Land and the Feng clan, but Chen Shang was completely fine. The super martial school did not lose even a single hair. Chen Shang was the only one who took revenge on the White Sea Imperial Land and the Feng clan. Since Chen Shang did not involve the super martial school in this, one could tell from just this that Chen Shang really could not be provoked. The white flame heavenly horse is my friend, whether or not I stay will be up to you guys. Wu Qianshan's soft, angry voice floated over as she wore a light yellow plain long skirt. Her indifferent and refined temperament completely suppressed those heavenly women. When Wu Qianshan saw that the white flame heavenly horse was trapped by a golden net, she glared at Yun Xiaodao and the others fiercely. Then, with a wave of her hand, the white flame heavenly horse turned into a golden light and entered into the profound beast bag at her waist. Ah, Qianshan, this thing is yours. Why didn't you say so earlier? It caused us to spend so many months and so much precious time to capture him. Zhu Rong's face was filled with grief, Yun Xiaodao and the others were all stunned, then all of their faces were filled with sorrow. The hundreds of billions of spar just flew away like that. You guys also said that White Snow has been following me for a long time. In the future, you all are not allowed to have any ideas about her. Wu Qianshan put her hands on her waist, puffed out her cheeks, and scolded Yun Xiaodao and the others like a big sister. They were all from the Triumph Martial Yard, so Wu Qianshan was definitely a big sister inside. Chen Shang smiled and said to the Heavenly Sons and Heavenly Sisters. Now, if you want to keep the white flame heavenly horse, it's equivalent to stealing it. However, you guys should be doing this quite a bit, right? All of these things are basically a waste in the hands of you fellows. Jing Xingliang lost a bottle of Peach Blossom Immortal Dew, causing him to be extremely poor. Right now, he was also in a hurry to earn more spar, if not he would be ridiculed by others in the future. Master, let me slaughter this white-faced monkey. Xiao Chou was somewhat unable to hold it in. Chen Shang took out a 10-feet-long black iron rod. This was something Duan Sanchang had dug out from the tomb of the demon god Sun. Take it. Chen Shang had specially picked this stick for Xiao Chou. Xiao Chou held it in his hand and waved it around a few times, then laughed out loud. The weight is just right, this rod is called a monkey stick. Come, white-faced monkey, come and hit it for me, haha. Jing Xingliang was so angry that white smoke rose from him. Today, let us, the young people of Super Martial School, exchange pointers with the various heavenly sons. Zhu Rong laughed. He spoke very easily, because the one fighting would definitely not be him. The cultivation levels of the heavenly sons and heavenly ladies of the ancient powers were much higher than the young generation of the Super Martial School. But Chen Shang and the others were not afraid at all. 867. Ji Meixian did not want to intervene. She could feel that Chen Zhang's strength had increased by a lot now. Previously, she had already fought Chen Shang to a standstill, and although she had also gained a lot now, she did not have the confidence to defeat Chen Shang. She did not know much about Wu Qianshan, she only knew that Wu Qianshan was the #1 beauty of the Super Martial School, that she spent all her time in seclusion in the Super Dan Imperial College, that she was an outstanding disciple of the Triumph Martial Yard, that she was the strongest young female disciple of the Super Martial School, and that Wu Qianshan knew how to refine pills. Now that Wu Qianshan had subdued a white flame heavenly horse, his strength had increased by a lot. Although Yun Xiaodao and the others were more of a rogue, they were definitely not weak. If they were to work together, it would be easy to kill a sky child or a sky girl. Damned bald donkey, today I will kill you. Jing Xingliang had already endured it for a long time. When he made his move this time, he released his strongest power and smashed towards Chen Shang and the others with his palm. He swung the iron rod, striking towards the center of the energy flow. The great strength race's divine power turned into a golden light and wrapped the entire iron rod, sweeping across and creating a violent gale of energy, causing the places where the Son of Heaven and the heavenly girl stood to be smashed into pieces. Master, leave the white-faced monkey to me. Xiao Chou shouted, wielding his iron rod, he attacked Jing Xingliang. The battle between the two was on the verge of breaking out as they started to fight on the side. Attack! Feng Yuhe bellowed, only to see her and the new son of the Feng clan rushing towards Chen Shang. Chen Shang only felt a gust of wind blowing towards him, but this gust of wind was like countless sharp blades, wanting to cut him into pieces. If it was an ordinary person, they would have already turned into minced meat. However, Chen Shang was someone who had mastered Immortal Devil Body. Feng Yuhe's face was covered in frost, her entire body releasing a dense killing intent, which turned into a burst of cold wind. As her blue dress fluttered out, the cold lady's hand was extremely ruthless, it was all a killing move, as though she had a deep grudge with Chen Shang. Although the heavenly son of the Feng clan was newly selected, his strength was not bad, and the force of his palm was extremely sharp. However, later on he knew that if he did not use weapons, he would not be able to harm Chen Shang. Chen Shang and the Feng clan's son of heaven had attacked him together, but they could at most touch his clothes. Every single time, they would feel that they were about to pierce through Chen Zhang's body, but Chen Shang was still able to magically avoid them. It had to be known that Chen Shang was facing two strong warriors who attacked together. Each of the attacks he dealt with was a killing move, whether he blocked or dodged, it was extremely dangerous for him to split apart. The heavenly daughter of the Qin family did not make her move, but upon seeing Chen Zhang's strength, their expressions became extremely solemn. Ji Meixian and Mu Jialin did not have any intentions of fighting at all, but seeing how much Chen Zhang's strength had increased, they did not feel good about it. Is that all the son of heaven and woman of the Feng clan have? Chen Shang laughed in disdain, and struck towards Feng Yuhe's jade palm. In that moment, the mountain shook and the ground shook, the weather changed, Chen Zhang's arm was suddenly covered with gold scales, her entire arm looked like a dragon claw. This time, Chen Shang used the power of his martial spirit. His arm was intertwined with lightning and fire, his dragon power was overflowing, his palm had already turned into a dragon claw, the aura that gushed out from the dragon power gushed out from the gaps of his scales, releasing a weak dragon's roar. Don't even think about succeeding. When the Feng clan saw that Chen Shang wanted to deal with him, he thrusted his sword towards Chen Zhang's back, but after piercing through his clothes, it was difficult to get even half a step into his body again. Chen Zhang's dragon claw collided with Feng Yuhe's jade palm. Immediately, golden light flashed as lightning danced wildly. With an explosive sound, the ground began to crack. Even though Feng Yuhe's innate qi was gentle, its power was not small. Chen Zhang's dragon power was fierce and tyrannical and it was vigorous. Combined with his frightening power of the fire thunder dragon's soul, it made that wave of dragon power even more berserk, pressuring Feng Yuhe. The sleeve of her arm had already been shattered into pieces by Chen Zhang's power. Her jade-like arm was cracked open, and was dripping with blood. She was sent flying. Only she understood how powerful that palm from Chen Shang was, and she could clearly feel several waves of energy merging together. There was the power of her physical body, the power of thunder and fire, the terrifying dragon power, and a wave of indescribable coldness. Feng Yuhe had only exchanged one palm with Chen Shang, and was already severely injured, and was even attacked by an unknown cold qi. At this moment, her entire body was trembling, and her face was green. Not only her arm was destroyed, her body was also severely injured. Chen Shang had just used the hail magic wind, and this made him unable to stand up for the moment. He turned around to look at the son of the Feng clan who had just given him a sword strike. The son of the heaven, who had just been elected as the son of heaven, had already garnered the jealousy of many people in the Feng clan. He had to kill Chen Shang in order to consolidate his position. This son of the Feng clan was not weak at all. If Chen Shang had not used the profound Wu diamond armor to protect his body just now, even if his immortal devil body had matured, a little bit of his skin would have been pierced through. Chen Shang, die! The heavenly emperor of Feng clan focused his energy on the sword aura caused the sky and earth to change colors, it was extremely powerful, the sword aura caused people's hearts to turn cold. bringing a long sword qi. It stirred up the leaves on the ground and shattered them. The sword tip on Chen Zhang's forehead released a cold light, filled with killing intent. At this moment, it was as if he had become one with the sword, turning into a rainbow of light and piercing towards Chen Shang. So powerful, as expected of an ancient power, to be able to reach such a level in swordsmanship at such a young age. The heavenly child of the Feng clan that Chen Shang faced had a much higher cultivation than him, at least to be able to pass through the 5 stages of nirvana tribulations. This sword was extremely fast, but in Chen Zhang's eyes, it was extremely slow. Everything around him became extremely slow. He used all his senses, and he could hear the heartbeats of everyone around him. He could even clearly hear the sounds of other people bleeding in their veins. It was as if he had blended into the earth itself. He could capture all the movements of the land. He could feel all the movements in the surrounding air. He could even hear the faint sounds of the sand. Chen Shang suddenly understood that if he wanted to comprehend ground killing, he had to engage in this kind of life and death battle. Only by moving his killing heart, could he integrate it into his nature and comprehend the killing methods of nature. A dense innate qi suddenly surged out of his body. This was genuine qi of universe. The majestic genuine qi of universe rushed into the air, and the afterimages of countless towering mountains suddenly appeared behind Chen Shang. The shadow flashed. After that, it fused into Chen Zhang's body, and a majestic qi surged out from his body. I will give you a quick death. White gloves appeared on Chen Zhang's fist, but Slaughter God's hand did not release any killing intent, because the killing intent had already turned into an imposing qi, forming a terrifying force. The power of 10,000 mountains. Chen Zhang's fist collided against the tip of the sword with the force of a mountain river, causing people to feel as if they were facing 10,000 towering mountains. That power, that momentum, were simply impossible to resist, as if it was the power of nature itself. Chen Zhang's fist had yet to even touch the sword tip, but the sword had already been crushed into dust by the incomparable aura, and the Feng clan Tianzi's entire body had exploded. Following that, his body became a ball of flames and was burnt to ashes. 868. The Son of Heaven that Feng clan had just selected had been annihilated. The 2 Son of Heaven in Feng clan had been killed by Chen Shang. As for the heavenly girl, she was lying on the ground. One of her arms was crippled, and her internal injuries were severe. Ji Meixian thought that the attack she used just now was extremely familiar. It was the same as the one she used just now, that kind of power that carried a natural spirituality, just that the aura was much stronger than hers. She saw Chen Shang walking towards Feng Yuhei and anxiously transmitted to Chen Shang, "You want to kill her?" Chen Shang looked at Feng Yuhei with a murderous look on his face, and immediately replied Ji Meixian. With a flash of green light, he released the green dragon demon-slain broadsword that many ancient powers were drooling over. Feng Yuhei's delicate body trembled. She did not expect Chen Shang to be so strong. Even if their Feng clan's heavenly maiden and Tianzi joined forces, they would still be unable to take him down. Chen Shang waved his blade, and laughed coldly. I have already killed 2 of the sky children of your Feng clan, so killing you would also have the same consequences. You don't need to use your Feng clan as a threat. I have already said it before, if you want to make a move on me, you will have to bear the consequences. It was not only the Feng clan, but also the White Sea Imperial land. However, he was unable to kill Ji Meixian now. No, Feng Yuhei's face was filled with fear as he screamed, but Chen Zhang's divine blade had already been mercilessly chopped down. The berserk dragon power poured into the blade's body, causing it to become extremely heavy. The divine blade descended and the ground split open, creating an additional deep ravine. Violent flames surged out from the blade and incinerated that piece of flesh. The peerless beauty of a generation was instantly transformed into dust. She was once chased and pursued by many, and was pursued by many young elites. But now, she was only an ant killed by a lift of a hand and turned into ashes. Ji Meixian, Mu Jialan, Qin Yao, these 3 girls were watching in a daze. Even the son of the Qin family took a deep breath. The reason why Chen Shang did this was to tell Ji Meixian and the others that even if it was the heavenly girl, he would still be ruthless. Let's go. Qin Meng was not confident that he could defeat Chen Shang. Not to mention him alone, even if he joined hands with the heavenly daughter of the Qin family, it would still be somewhat difficult, unless the heavenly daughter of the White Sea Imperial land and the White Sea Imperial land joined in. Young Master Shen, please let Jing Xingliang go. Mu Jialan saw Chen Shang walking towards the battlefield and anxiously said. He must die. As long as it is the person who has thoughts on my blade, I will not let him off. Chen Shang glanced at Ji Meixian coldly, and continued, I heard my good friend Duan Sanchang mention that he had the intention to steal my divine blade. Mu Jialan bit her lips and said, your disciple is currently fighting with him, do you two want to fight him together? Chen Shang said, against the enemy, as long as we can kill them. He disappeared in a flash, and appeared behind Xiao Chou. Mu Jialan was shocked, and followed closely behind. She was the Peach Blossom Heavenly Girl, she could not watch as the Peach Blossom Prince died. Jing Xingliang was shocked when he saw Chen Shang suddenly arrive. He had just seen Chen Shang killing the Feng clan's Sky Maiden and Tianzi, but he did not expect that Chen Shang would come to find him so quickly. All of you, die together. Jing Xingliang laughed sinisterly, the sword in his hand flashed with a rainbow light, and countless sword aura enveloped them, as though countless swords were thrusting towards them, covering Chen Shang and Xiao Chou. Break for me. Xiao Chou waved the iron rod, releasing a burst of divine power that swept up a large amount of golden light. It was as if he was holding onto a huge fan, sweeping away all of the sword aura. Chen Shang said in a low voice, go, I will lock him down. The ground suddenly split open, revealing a gigantic mud dragon. The water and soil mixed together, it was extremely powerful, locking Jing Xingliang tightly, revealing only his head. Stop, Mu Jialan shouted. Even though she hated Jing Xingliang and he was against her frequently, she couldn't just stand by and watch him die when he was in the same sect. Chen Shang was already on her guard. Mu Jialan had just released his powerful palm force, wanting to shatter the mud dragon, but who would have known that a bolt of heavenly lightning would suddenly struck down, causing her body to sway. The innate chi that she had just condensed had completely scattered, and there was even a mud dragon on the ground, wrapping around her. Xiao Chou seized the opportunity and leapt into the air. Raising the iron rod high up, he focused all of his divine power onto the iron rod. White-faced monkey, go to hell. Xiao Chou roared, and smashed down with the rod. Damned bald donkey, don't even think about killing me. A round shield suddenly appeared on top of Jing Xingliang's head, with a peach blossom pattern on it. The peach blossom pattern was formed using some ancient spirit grain, similar to the ones on Tongtian aristocratic family. The power of an Empyrean god. Xiao Chou's body was surrounded by golden light, as though he was a golden man. A berserk aura erupted from his body, as though it was the appearance of the dragon power, causing the earth to shake violently. That stick was surrounded by this terrifying divine power, and it smashed against that round peach blossom shield. Bang! With a loud sound, a wave of chi swept out, the round shield was smashed into pieces. Jing Xingliang's head was like a crushed watermelon, exploding on the ground with blood and brain matter flying everywhere. Mu Jialan was not weak. Even though Chen Shang had used a lot of strength to entangle her, she had still managed to struggle free, but it was already too late. By the time she had arrived, Chen Shang had already released a fireball, causing Jing Xingliang's body to be engulfed in flames. Sigh, Mu Jialan sighed lightly in front of that ball of flames and then floated away. She had already tried her best, but she still hadn't stopped Chen Shang and the others. Right now, there were only Chen Shang and the other super martial school disciples in the forest. Haha, our super martial school has won. Those heavenly sons of the heaven are all cowards. We won without even fighting. Zhu Rong laughed. Damn pig, you're not the one who won the fight, what are you so proud of? Yun Xiaodao's eyes were filled with contempt. Wu Qianchen chuckled. You guys are pretty amazing, you actually managed to catch my white snow. Zhu Rong laughed dryly, it was the little baldy and the condor that took action. I was running too slow, I couldn't even get a hold of the horse hair, it had nothing to do with me. XV Weilong said, it was his idea. He set up a trap to catch us, otherwise it would have been impossible for us to succeed. Zhu Rong glared at XV Weilong. Old pig, you're still the same as ever. Chen Shang laughed. He was also very happy to meet these old friends of his. Let's return to the city first. It will be safer there. Xiao Chou said. Along the way, Chen Shang found out about what had happened over the past few months. When he heard that Shui Shenxian and Leng Yulin had fought against two heavenly sisters, he was extremely shocked. Chen Shang, do you have any enmity with Bai Hai, the heavenly girl? Zhu Rong rubbed his hands together as he asked, since Ji Meixian had given him a guarantee of 100 billion spar. 869. This woman is very insidious, she actually wants to get close to Shenxian and the others. If Shenxian and Yulan were to land in her hands, it would be troublesome. Chen Zhang's heart was filled with anger. He had to go and talk with Ji Meixian, or take Ji Meixian down, or else with Ji Meixian being such a powerful woman, he would lose out sooner or later. Luckily your wife and sister were smart. Not only were they not successful, they even took away her 100 billion spar. Ah, isn't it way too easy for them to earn spar s? Zhu Rong's face was filled with jealousy. They had been running around the forest for months just for the spar s. You want the spar? Why didn't you say so earlier? If you follow me, I can let you guys make a huge profit. Wu Qianshen's eyes turned as he smiled. Big sister, is what you said true? We do not need too many, just enough to allow us to return to the super martial school comfortably. The last time we came, we almost died in there. Yun Xiaodao thought back to the past, his face filled with bitterness. Yun Xiaodao, Zhu Rong and the others had already returned all the spar back to Chen Shang, while Chen Shang kept them all with a grin. I need some demonic beasts and elixirs to concoct my pill. You guys have to help me get them. In just a year or two, you guys will be able to collect the transportation fees. Wu Qianshen calculated and said. Since Wu Qianshen was able to see her as his successor, naturally she was good. Now, Chen Shang did not know how much her alchemy skills improved, but seeing how confident she was in bringing Yun Xiaodao and the others to earn a lot of money, he knew that she was not bad. So you're saying that you will be staying in the Pill City for a period of time? Chen Shang asked. He suddenly had something he needed to do and could not enter the city together with Yun Xiaodao and the others. Yes, of course we have to do it in Pill City. Wu Qianshen replied with a question, do you have something important to do? Chen Shang nodded his head. You guys enter the city, I will look for you guys when I have something good to do. Shui Shenxian and Leng Yulin were not in Pill City, he was in no hurry to go there. After parting with Zhu Rong and the others, he ran towards the aura he sensed. On top of a tall mountain, Ji Meixian stood atop a huge boulder, looked at the sea of clouds, and felt a natural change in expression. The white mist floated past her body, and her snow-white dress fluttered in the wind, her soft black hair danced in the wind, as though her entire body had merged with nature. Chen Shang was standing behind her right now. He did not enter the city with Yun Xiaodao and the others because he wanted to come and see Ji Meixian. We need to talk, Ji Meixian said as she turned around, her beautiful eyes looking forward as she spoke lightly. We don't have anything to talk about. Let me warn you, if you still dare to have any ideas about Shenxian or Yulan, even if I have to risk my life, I won't let you go. Chen Zhang's voice was calm, but the intangible fury had turned into killing intent that filled the sky. The dense killing intent set off a strong wind, and all the white clouds around them dispersed, causing waves of black clouds and thunder to appear. The murderous aura on the peak of the mountain was extremely oppressive. The black clouds churned as a murderous aura shrouded Ji Meixian. Ji Meixian's beautiful eyes glistened as her white dress and black hair danced wildly. She shouted softly, her clear and beautiful voice accompanied by the golden light that was emitted from her body flickered, and a holy aura swept in all directions, dispersing the killing intent. The ink cloud on the mountain peak dissipated, and transformed into a golden cloud that shot out bursts of red light, forming a strong holy energy that trapped Chen Shang. You really do cultivate in the heaven-earth killing method. The method I cultivate in is evolved from the ground killing, but it is not as authentic as the ground killing. Amongst the four-phase magic kung fu you cultivate, the White Tiger Divine Technique's killing heart can allow you to easily control a large amount of killing aura, which is why you are able to learn the heaven-earth killing method. Ji Meixian's voice was light as she stared at Chen Shang. She had thought that her words would cause Chen Shang to be shocked. But Chen Shang only replied casually, you're right. He had long known about Ji Meixian's identity. She was a ranker on the side of the heaven realm, a Yuyi immortal fairy. Although she was very mysterious in the heaven realm, she had chased after Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu all year round, causing Bai Yuyu and Su Meiyao to know quite a bit about her background. So even if she was able to see through some of Chen Zhang's secrets, Chen Shang was not surprised. They are so strong and cunning, I can't do anything to them. If you ask your wife to return that 100 billion, I promise I won't cause trouble for them in the future. Ji Meixian said, that 100 billion was also very important to her. Chen Shang said, this is what you used as a guarantee for them back then, you can't go back on your words, so it's impossible for that 100 billion to return to you. Besides, I don't trust you. Your promise is like farting to me. Quote. His arm shook, and he summoned the green dragon demon slain broadsword out. You want to kill me? Ji Meixian laughed coldly, but she was secretly furious in her heart. Chen Zhang's strength had increased a lot, so she did not have the confidence to win against him. I admit that it's very difficult to kill you, but it's very easy to catch you. Only by taking you down can I be at ease with Shenxian and you land not being harassed by you. Chen Shang felt that it was time to capture Ji Meixian. Ji Meixian raised his head and laughed, "Are you afraid of me? The other heavenly sons are nothing in your eyes, but you are afraid of me." Quote. Chen Shang said seriously, "I have never been afraid of you." The divine blade shook, the dragon power surged, the dragon cry resonated, a green light flashed, forming a crescent moon-like arc, striking horizontally towards Ji Meixian. "I don't have time to fight with you." Ji Meixian slapped her palms, shattered the force, and jumped into the sea of clouds. "Don't you want your apron back? Aren't you afraid that the image crystal will be revealed to the public? I'm not afraid of you talking about my Li Renshan, but you're afraid that I'll release the image crystal, right?" Chen Shang stood at the peak of the mountain and lightly said. Just as he finished speaking, Ji Meixian appeared behind him with a face full of frost. "I don't want that 100 billion, and I won't have any plans on dealing with your woman in the future either. This is between you and me, so try not to involve others." As soon as Ji Meixian finished speaking, Chen Shang chopped at her. The torrential dragon power shattered all the huge rocks on the mountain peak and all of them tumbled down. The berserk blade chi cut out and created a gust of wind, blowing away all the white clouds. Ji Meixian waved her long sleeves, using her immortal robe to block Chen Zhang's divine blade attack, releasing a ray of white light that struck Chen Zhang's blade chi. Boom! The two divine weapons released a force that collided with each other. The mountain peak immediately crumbled as rubble of different sizes tumbled down one after another. Chen Shang and Ji Meixian floated in the air, their eyes locked, brimming with killing intent. "We won't get any results if we continue fighting. I'm waiting for you here because I want to have a good talk with you." Ji Meixian was forced to use the image crystal to threaten her, causing her to be filled with anger. However, she still had to suppress her anger, because she knew that Chen Shang was very angry right now. 870. We have nothing to talk about. You want to kill me, and I want to kill you too. Do you think there's a need to talk about it? As Chen Shang spoke, he slashed out tens of times, and the blade lights that filled the sky surged like a tsunami as they rushed towards Ji Meixian, clenching her teeth tightly. She knew that if Chen Shang did not finish today with her, she would not let this matter rest. The anger in her heart could not be suppressed. It turned into energy that surged into her limbs and bones, causing her entire body to shine with holy light. She was like a goddess as she floated high in the air. This was the true strength of her soul awakening. At this moment, her celestial clothes appeared, initially white, but now wholly golden. Her clothes fluttered in the wind, emitting bursts of holy light, just like a goddess. This was simply not an immortal robe at all. Chen Shang was sure that this was his divine robe that was as powerful as a profound WU diamond armor. A golden dragon that was as thick as an arm suddenly appeared above his head. The golden dragon circled around his body, gradually forming a set of golden armor that resembled dragon scales. This was the armor his martial soul had transformed into. Ji Meixian frowned. Chen Zhang's current appearance of wearing the dragon scale golden armor was also very imposing. Although it was not as powerful as her divine armor, it was not weak either. Chen Shang did not reveal his profound WU diamond armor, otherwise Ji Meixian would have ran away without turning back. When I was fighting with your sister in the day, I showed her some mercy. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been able to beat me. You have obtained the heaven-earth killing method, have a divine weapon like the green dragon demon slain broadsword, and also have the potential to cultivate the Taiji dragon suppressed Kung Fu. You will definitely become an overlord in the future, and even if you are able to shake the entire heaven realm, your hatred and I can still be resolved right now. Quote. At that moment, she thought about many things. She knew that it was very difficult to kill Chen Shang as a person, and if she were to be targeted by him in the future, she would definitely be killed by him one day. If Ji Meixian had not chased after and killed Su Meiyao, perhaps there would still be room for negotiation. But now that Chen Shang had already made up his mind to take Ji Meixian down, to prevent future trouble, who knew when Ji Meixian would recover his strength? When she regained the kind of strength that could shake heaven realm, it would be too late for regret. The hatred between us can be dissolved, but it is definitely not a way to be calm and negotiate. Chen Shang did not believe that Ji Meixian could not pursue the matter from before. You won't be able to kill me. Ji Meixian's expression was stern, her beautiful eyes flashed, and said, How about this, let's fight a bit, I don't need my divine clothes, and you don't need your divine blade. If I lose, it's up to you. But you lost. First, you have to return the image crystal to me. Then, you have to help me find my apron before you die. Ji Meixian was extremely confident. If Chen Shang didn't have the terrifying divine blade, it was equivalent to losing an arm. She felt that it would be very easy to take Chen Shang down. Chen Shang sneered in his heart. This Ji Meixian's understanding of him was limited to the rumors, at most he only knew that he possessed the four-phase magic kung fu. That's not bad, but I don't believe you. You don't believe me either. A verbal agreement is nothing. How about we form a heavenly blood contract? Chen Shang took out a piece of beast skin. That would be for the best. Ji Meixian agreed. She couldn't trust Chen Shang either. Chen Shang laughed sinisterly. If you lose, you are my slave and will have me as your slave for the rest of your life. These are all written down in the heavenly blood contract. Chen Shang was a little bit angry. Chen Shang had actually always wanted to take her in as a female slave. She was a famous Yi immortal fairy in the entire heaven realm, but she was actually looked down upon by a little mortal kid. You are truly knowledgeable. You actually understand things like the heaven blood contract. Ji Meixian was truly shocked. Chen Shang had seen it on that divine book, and the blood contract was also a type of spirit grain formation. Okay then, if you lose, you have to fulfill what I said before, and then give me the Taiji dragon suppressed Kung Fu in the Yanlong furnace, and that will be enough. When Ji Meixian found out that he had lost and was going to be a female slave, he added another two. You're not bad either, you actually saw through the stuff of my pill furnace. As you wish, if you lose, your entire body will be mine, so adding on these two things will be fine. Chen Shang was also very confident. At this moment, the two of them were calmly playing with the blood pact. The blood pact was still very complicated. First, they cut out a piece of good beast skin, then they fused their blood together and injected a wisp of their soul into it. Your blood is actually golden. Where exactly do you come from? When Chen Shang saw that Ji Meixian's current blood was like molten gold, he could not help but be shocked. When he previously injured Ji Meixian, the blood was red. Ji Meixian did not answer. When she saw Chen Shang blood dripping and felt the terrifying power contained in the blood, she was so shocked that her expression changed drastically, especially when her golden blood was mixed with Chen Zhang's blood. Are you afraid? Chen Shang sneered. No, in order to get a good night's sleep, I'll have to make a decision no matter what. Ji Meixian's firm confidence suddenly wavered. She could not see through Chen Zhang's blood, and with her spirit sense, she could not feel what kind of energy it was, but it was strong enough. The heavenly blood contract was made jointly by Chen Shang and Ji Meixian. Ji Meixian also understood how to make the heavenly blood contract. After drawing up the contract and writing down the oath, the two of them entered the spirit blood essence again. Ji Meixian wanted to condense a master-servant contract onto the heavenly blood contract. Once she lost, she would immediately sign a contract with Chen Shang, allowing him to dictate life and death. The heavenly blood contract was completed, and it was in Chen Zhang's custody. If he won, Ji Meixian would be his female slave. If he lost, he would have to follow the rules of the contract. If he violated the contract, he would suffer a pain worse than death, a torture that came from the soul. I'm very curious, why don't you add the green dragon demon slain broadsword and heaven earth killing method? Chen Shang suddenly felt relaxed, and calmed down right where he was. Ji Meixian regained her confidence. She could not use the green dragon demon slain broadsword, no matter how strong she was just a little kid, her cultivation was higher than Chen Zhang's, and her fighting experience was also richer than Chen Zhang's. She believed that she would definitely not lose. You and the green dragon demon slain broadsword have become one. Even if you die, I can only obtain a useless blade. I can't learn the heaven earth killing method, maybe it will force me onto a dead end, useless to me. Ji Meixian was still very familiar with these things. She was also adjusting her condition and preparing to fight with Chen Shang. 871. The reason why they were staying here was so that they could wait for the appearance of the Li Renshan. The heaven earth killing method was too important to them. It would make it easier for them to enter the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord's tomb. This group of ancient powers all inherited from the 10th heaven, and their strength was deep and unfathomable. They also had a very solid foundation in the heaven realm, and the Feng clan in the White Sea Imperial land. These two families were also very powerful among these ancient powers. But now, the Son of Heaven and the Heavenly Lady died one after another, and they were all killed by the same person. This time, not only did Chen Shang infuriate Feng Clan and White Sea Imperial Land, he had also offended a Peach Blossom Imperial Land, and the head of the Sky Child of Peach Blossom Prince was actually smashed by the combined forces of Xiaoqiu and Chen Shang. Of course, these were all the grudges of the younger generation. Chen Zhang's blade had indeed caught the attention of many of the ancient power's young generation, and anyone who had seen it would want to snatch it away. If they met Chen Shang in the wilderness, it would be unavoidable for them to fight each other. What shocked those old fellows the most was that the two Dan Kings were indeed killed by Chen Shang. Their heads were still being preserved by Chen Shang. Right now, these two clans were ridiculed by many ancient powers. They clearly had grudges between the younger generation, yet they repeatedly sent out some old people. Moreover, they were even killed by a little brat. White Sea Imperial Land and Feng Clan couldn't sit still anymore. Even if their people started to talk about this matter, with the death of the two Dan Kings, the Son of Heaven and the Heavenly Girl were also killed. They had to find Chen Shang for an explanation no matter what. Peach Blossom Imperial Land clearly knew that Jing Xingliang himself had angered Chen Shang and the others, but they had to go and find Chen Shang now, otherwise they would be laughed at by others. Chen Shang and Ji Meixian were resting at the foot of the mountain. The outcome of this battle was extremely important to them, especially to Ji Meixian. Someone is coming, it's all because of the terrifying killing intent you just released. Ji Meixian glared at Chen Shang. The people who have come are all some old fellows. Leader and Great Elder, the leaders of Feng Clan and Peach Blossom Imperial Land, and even a large group of people who came to watch the show. Why aren't you leaving? Ji Meixian floated into the air and shouted to Chen Shang. Chen Shang took out the Luotian Gate and a spatial origin orb. He planned to go to a relatively safe place. Come down here. Come with me to a place to fight. That place is safe. Chen Shang began to infuse the energy of the spatial bead into the Luotian Gate. Pill City was in the continent of the king, and the place Chen Shang wanted to go to was also in the continent of the king. The last time Chen Shang had used the Luotian Gate, the distance that he traveled was too far, causing the Luotian Gate to be injured. We can't outrun these old guys. Slowly, a spatial door appeared in front of Chen Shang. Seeing that Chen Shang had the ability, Ji Meixian could not help but snort. Now, she understood why Chen Shang dared to provoke everyone, even if she had the means to escape. Where are you going? Ji Meixian was a little vigilant. What are you afraid of? We have already signed the Heavenly Blood contract, and if I use trickery on you, it would go against the contract. It will do me no good. Chen Shang said snappily. Just as Ji Meixian arrived at his side, he was grabbed by the arm, and then, he jumped through the spatial door. After entering the spatial gate, they arrived at a place filled with ruins. Ji Meixian suddenly sensed something, causing his expression to change greatly, and anxiously soared into the sky, but he was stopped by Chen Shang. That dragon is fine. Chen Shang called out to the forest far away from the ruins, Big Brother Lan, I want to borrow a place. The blue dragon's name was Lan Kang, and although he had only spoken a few words with this dragon the last time Chen Shang had come in, he had told them his name. You little bastard, I won't change your name. I already told you last time, come to my place and don't bring any women in. Lan Kang's voice came out from the forest, causing a large group of people to jump out. You can use this crappy place as you like, but just don't destroy my forest. You can't be thinking of doing business here, right? Where are you thinking? I have some history with this woman, and I'm going to have a fight with her here right now. Chen Shang curled his lips and said. From her conversation with Chen Shang, she could see that the dragon in the forest had a good relationship with Chen Shang. Her spiritual sense was extremely sharp, and she was very clear about the dragon's strength. It made her very afraid. She never thought that Chen Zhang's support was actually this strong. What is this place? Ji Meixian looked around and asked coldly. Other than this crappy place, everything else is very dangerous. If you want to fight, then hurry up. Remember, don't come to my forest and fight. Lan Kang warned. The group of old fellows who came to find Chen Shang missed their target, causing them to be even more furious. A large group of experts was actually thrown away by a little kid, and they didn't know where Chen Shang was right now. Can we call now? I'm ready. Chen Shang could not wait any longer. When he thought about how the White Sea Imperial Land and the Feng clan had sent a bunch of old fellows to find him, and knew that they would definitely capture him, relying on the strength that they had gained from cultivating to bully a little brat, he felt extremely dissatisfied. Come on. The grudge between us will be resolved through this battle. Don't worry, even if you lose to me, I won't kill you in the future. Ji Meixian's voice was cold, her snow-white dress overflowed with a faint golden sacred radiance, and with one glance, one could tell that this was not the White Sea Imperial Lands asterisk. Chen Shang did not use a green dragon demon-slain broadsword, nor did he intend to use a profound diamond armor and a slaughter god's hand. He needed to rely on what he had learned to defeat Ji Meixian, and on one hand, it would help him comprehend the ground killing. The two of them were very serious. Lan Kang, who was inside the forest, turned into a blue light and flew out, appearing beside Chen Shang and the others in his human form. Seeing this blue-clothed middle-aged man appear, Ji Meixian's jade face was filled with vigilance. She took a few steps back with her palms glowing golden, because the person in front of her was too dangerous. "I'm just watching from the side. I won't interfere." Lan Kang smiled and retreated out of the ruins. He stood outside the ruins and let out a long sigh of relief. "Kid, this woman is very powerful. There is some kind of powerful bloodline in her body that does not belong to a human. The energy that she's using right now is something that even I am a little afraid of. If she had the same cultivation level as me, I would only be able to escape." Lan Kang warned Chen Shang. 872. Chen Shang had already known that Ji Meixian had many secrets, especially when he saw her pure golden blood. Originally, there were many towering stone buildings constructed here, but for some reason, all of them were destroyed. At this moment, all of the large and small ice-cold stones actually leaked out a golden multicolored light, and the multicolored light was the same as the one emitted by Ji Meixian. Yi! A strange sound came out, causing the ground to tremble. Ji Meixian waved his hands, and many different sized stones started to float. Ji Meixian took action, her eyes brimming with golden splendor, her entire body surrounded by golden clouds, as though she was a goddess. "What power is this? These stones are making me uneasy." Chen Shang looked at the mountain-like boulders floating in front of him and secretly operated the dragon power. Whoosh! Dozens of boulders that were like small mountains flew towards Chen Shang. When these 10 or so huge rocks that were covered in golden splendor flew towards Chen Shang, they suddenly fused together and transformed into a gigantic mountain. With a speed that was like light, Chen Shang was unable to dodge at all, and he did not even have time to block. The gigantic mountain crashed into Chen Zhang's strong body, and as if it had collided with divine iron, the entire mountain trembled and let out a clanging sound. Chen Shang was knocked flying by the huge impact. His body was stuck to a huge boulder, and that boulder also had Ji Meixian's bizarre golden power. The gigantic mountain once again activated, suddenly flying into the air and fiercely crashing down. The gigantic rock, under Ji Meixian's control, felt like it was weightless, especially that terrifying speed. It did not give Chen Shang the chance to catch his breath. Chen Shang had just been sent flying, but before he could even react, that enormous mountain had already smashed down ruthlessly. The rock that was stuck behind Chen Zhang's back had shattered, and Chen Shang was also pressed down by that enormous mountain. Whether he was dead or alive was unknown. Lan Kang was also dumbstruck. This was the first time he had seen such a mysterious power. Even if the entire huge mountain was smashed down ruthlessly, the ground would not be damaged at all. This way, the power Chen Shang could endure would be even stronger. Ji Meixian's expression was calm and refined, as though all of this was within her expectations. However, the huge mountain that was suppressing Chen Shang suddenly trembled, and following that, Chen Shang roared out, and Chen Shang actually lifted the entire mountain up. "Humph!" Ji Meixian shouted coldly. The golden light of the huge mountain shook, and transformed into 2 gigantic stone fists that were like giant fists. Under her control, they smashed onto Chen Zhang's body at a terrifying speed. The strength of each fist was enough to smash a true huge mountain to pieces, and on a person's body, it was even able to turn a person into meat paste. But now that it had struck Chen Zhang's body, it was as if it had struck a piece of divine iron that had the properties of bullets, and could not be beaten flat by Chen Shang no matter how hard it was struck. Pa! A burst of white light flashed out, and the palm formed from dragon power swept out towards a falling stone fist. The terrifying power that erupted caused the ground to shake. The violent heaven-blasting palm power was like a tidal wave that spread in all directions and shook all of the surrounding rocks into powder. Pa! Another heaven-blasting palm was released. The snow-white dragon power along with the transparent devil-suppressing holy power instantly transformed into a giant energy palm. It struck onto that huge stone fist and the shaking force shattered it into pieces. The shock wave turned all of the shattered stones into white powder. The heaven-shaking palm was still unstoppable even after smashing into the rocks, and with a mighty force, it smashed towards Ji Meixian. Ji Meixian gently bit her jade teeth as her white dress and long hair danced frantically in the air due to the force of the heaven-blasting palm. The mysterious golden light around her body became even more dazzling, and when the huge heaven-blasting palm slammed down, she roared, and a burst of violent golden wind sprayed out from her cherry lips. The enormous golden radiance phoenix spread its wings for a distance of 300 meters and flapped its wings. It emitted a deafening cry that pierced the clouds as it flew towards the heaven-shaking palm that was approaching. 10th layer of devil-suppressing power. Chen Shang could feel that the phoenix's power was incomparably strong, so he channeled his dragon power and activated it. Pa 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 pa, 10 consecutive explosions resounded, and the giant golden phoenix was struck until it dissipated. In that instant, a sharp phoenix cry resounded throughout the 9 heavens, and a violent thunderclap shook the earth. The two forces collided. It was as if two waves of ocean that were hundreds of thousands of feet high had collided into each other, as though it was as if it was a dried twig that could be torn apart. The brutal energy generated by the collision all shot up into the sky. The ruins were like the mighty sweep of the sea as they were completely razed to the ground. Lan Kang was no longer there. He had turned into a blue dragon, like a tall mountain wall blocking the forest around him. Damn brat, you almost destroyed my forest. If humans are like these two bastards, why would us ordinary dragons be able to survive? Especially that little demon, whose flesh is too terrifying. Lan Kang muttered in his heart. Chen Zhang's body was indeed very strong, to the point that even Ji Meixian was shocked. She had already estimated that Chen Zhang's body was very strong, but it had still far exceeded her expectations. At this moment, the two of them had a new understanding of each other's strength. Although they had fought a big battle before, Chen Shang had not made a breakthrough at that time and had borrowed Long Shui's power, so Ji Meixian did not wake up. Earth is for me to use. Ji Meixian stamped with her foot, and the powder and small stones suddenly floated up, instantly transforming into a gigantic golden palm. The surrounding ground emitted a golden light that could be seen with the naked eye, which condensed on top of the palm. Chen Shang punched the palm that was condensing into a fist. The fist that was formed from dragon power, surged forward like the roar of 10,000 dragons, bringing about a great momentum as it charged forward. Ji Meixian had just finished using her mysterious power to form a palm, and it had instantly become as tall as a mountain. Under her control, it was like hitting a bug, hitting Chen Zhang's dragon fist down, causing the power to dissipate. Time to end it. Ji Meixian's cold voice was filled with confidence, as he controlled his mountain-like palm to strike towards Chen Shang. Chen Shang knew that the method Ji Meixian used was related to the ground killing, but it wasn't a complete ground killing. Seeing the giant palm coming at them, the surroundings suddenly became extremely slow. The giant palm that was originally as fast as lightning also became very slow. In Chen Zhang's mind, a scene of lofty mountains and flowing water suddenly appeared. He suddenly raised his hands and released all the 5 elements in his body. A mirage suddenly appeared in the sky. Several tall mountains towered as large rivers surged and surged. The majestic atmosphere engulfed the entire mountain and river as if it was real. Chen Shang had already figured out the key to ground killing at this point of time, which was the force of the earth. This was one of the powers that made people sigh in admiration. It's not over yet, Chen Shang bellowed, and the few large mountains in the air smashed down fiercely. The aura that was created when they landed on the ground felt extremely real. 873. Ji Meixian and Lan Kang were both shocked. This move of Chen Zhang's seemed to dominate the earth, creating such a powerful force that would attack. The sound of the river jumping on top of a few mountains was extremely real. The surging momentum made it impossible for anyone to doubt that this was just an illusion. This was indeed not true. There was only potential. This was the most shocking power of the great river mountain and river. As long as he could simulate this force, it would be enough. Chen Zhang's killing heart was violently jumping, killing intent crazily gushed out, transforming into a shocking imposing manner that merged with the flowing water of the mountains. Several mountains fell down with unstoppable force, shaking the earth and shaking the mountains. Boom! The few large mountains smashed down and the ground was pressed down by the aura. The powerful golden palm that Ji Meixian had condensed immediately dispersed and split apart again, the energy soaring to the sky and floating in the air, causing the clouds in the sky to churn, making sounds of whirring. Ji Meixian was submerged within, but what surprised Lan Kang was that those illusory figures did not dissipate, but continued to firmly press down on him. Just as Chen Shang was about to prepare the heavenly dragon seal, he saw a gigantic golden bird claw suddenly grabbing out, ripping apart the mountain river diagram. A long whistle split the air, Ji Meixian transformed into a golden ray and shot out. She was covered in golden feathers and had a pair of extremely beautiful golden wings on her back, looking like it was cast out of gold. Her eyes suddenly flashed with 2 gold lights, shooting towards Chen Shang. Chen Shang immediately dodged, and the place he was at earlier became a deep crater. It could be seen how terrifying the golden light that shot out from her eyes was. This woman, I know what kind of background she has, no wonder she's so powerful, and even reincarnated. Long Shui suddenly said in surprise. What kind of background? Chen Shang frowned, because suddenly, Ji Meixian's pair of golden wings flapped, exploding out with countless terrifying golden lights that shot out like rain from the sky. Chen Shang immediately used the profound Wu cover hood to protect himself and at the same time, released a wild roar. Using a sonic wave like the dragon roar to attack this light ray was still effective, the power was scattered by the waves of the dragon's roar. She belongs to the Imperial Avian race, she's just a different type of being, because she has the blood of a human. Just like how a member of the Imperial Dragon race has human blood. Long Shui said. What Imperial Avian race? At this time, Chen Shang was simply unable to get close to Ji Meixian, and the attack he released was very easily torn apart by Ji Meixian's huge golden claw. The current Ji Meixian was several times stronger than before, the mysterious power she had was even more dense, especially her golden wings. Every time they flapped, countless gold lights would burst out, as if they could pierce through everything. The ground was pierced by the light rays like a beehive, and each hole was very deep. It means that the Imperial Feather race is a race formed by the powerful bird-type beasts with powerful bloodlines. For example, the phoenix, the golden-winged great pung, and the vermilion bird were all powerful birds with feathers. As long as their bloodline can allow them to reach the peak of Heaven Realm in the future, they will be enemies with our Imperial Dragon race. Long Shui said. This Ji Meixian was actually the same as Long Shui, both were from a mysterious and powerful race like the Heaven Realm, but Ji Meixian was half human and half bird. Her blood should contain the blood of the undead bird and the golden-winged great pung. I think that one of her parents is a descendant of the undead bird and the golden-winged great pung combined. After that, he combined with a human and allowed her to have this kind of blood. Long Shui continued to speak. According to the Imperial Avian race's bird nest rules, this woman cannot have the bird nest that she left behind in the Imperial Avian race. Once she reaches a certain point in her growth, she will be expelled, and she cannot tell anyone about her origins and identity. This was probably the reason why Ji Meixian was so mysterious in the Heaven Realm. Now, both Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu understood why Ji Meixian was so strong now. If you want to defeat her, you better use the 100 dragon beast among the heavenly dragon seal, otherwise it will be very difficult for you to defeat her. One must know that she is someone with a much higher cultivation than you. If it was someone with the same cultivation as you, she would have already lost long ago. If this goes on, you will definitely lose. Long Shui said. When he used it, all of his power and mana would be drained, and at that time, even a child would be able to kill him. Furthermore, when he used it, he would also need time to prepare. Use all that you can for close combat. Bai Yuyu said. Chen Shang had thought of it long ago, but it would be difficult to get close to Ji Meixian now. Black Tortoise Body Splitting Technique. Chen Zhang's body suddenly released some water vapor, and 9 illusions that were the same as him appeared. Furthermore, these illusions could not be dispersed. He used some of the techniques on the 72 changes to make his clone look more real and imitate some of his qi. Ji Meixian's spiritual sense was extremely strong, so she was able to distinguish the clones. Therefore, she only locked onto Chen Shang to attack him, but the clones were only air in her eyes, she did not care about them at all. 2 more clones appeared behind her. Although she could feel them, she did not believe them. Chen Shang, who had locked onto the ground, threw himself into the golden pond and endlessly released that terrifying golden light. She must not lose, otherwise she would become a slave. Shadow Shift. Chen Shang used the move inside the Black Tortoise Divine Technique to exchange with the clones. He rarely used this move, but it was very useful now, able to let him get closer to Ji Meixian. Ji Meixian suddenly realized that Chen Zhang's original body had disappeared, and his expression changed because Chen Shang had appeared behind her back. Chen Zhang's eyes flashed, and countless of needle-like red lights shot out, and in the blink of an eye, they had penetrated Ji Meixian's body, and every single red light had broken her meridians, making her unable to circulate her energy. Heart-piercing demon eye, yelled in a daze, his face was filled with shock. At this time, Chen Zhang's eyes shot out two more beams of devilish light the size of thumbs, piercing through her heart. At that moment, Ji Meixian was sure that Chen Shang had obtained the inheritance of Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu. The heart-permeable demon eye was a devil art that the overlords of the heaven demon realm didn't have. If she had known that Chen Shang was this strong, she would not have been so careless. 874. All of the meridians in Ji Meixian's body had been penetrated by the countless rays of light that the demon eye of perception had released, and all of them were broken, causing her to be unable to circulate her powers. However, she possessed the bloodline of the undying bird, so she was able to quickly repair it. Chen Shang knew that she had the bloodline of the undying bird, so he definitely would not help her recover. With a sneer on his face, he struck out with his palms, causing a large shadow of his palms to envelop Ji Meixian. Feeling that bizarre power, Ji Meixian's expression changed again. This was the bone-melting magic palm. Even if her bloodline was not ordinary, her bones would still be melted. The bone-melting magic palm struck onto Ji Meixian's body soundlessly. The dense palm force poured into Ji Meixian's body and melted away her bones. The pair of golden wings on Ji Meixian's back disappeared. Her meridians were completely shattered, and her bones had melted. Like a leaf, she slowly fell to the ground. She suddenly felt that the situation at this time was extremely familiar. Many years ago, when she was fighting with Bai Yuyu, she had already suffered such a loss. But it was not over yet. Chen Shang once again used her piercing heart demon eye, and shot out countless threads of tiny red light at the falling Ji Meixian, penetrating her slowly recovering meridians. Then, with a continuous movement of his palms, the bone-melting magic palm released waves that struck Ji Meixian's body. It even contained the hail magic wind, which froze Ji Meixian's soul. Evil little devil, Lan Kang, who had turned into a giant dragon, was watching on the side, secretly clicking his tongue. That kind of devilish technique also made him baffled. Why did Ji Meixian, who was just so powerful, suddenly get knocked down on the ground? The reason why Chen Shang did not use his devil arts before, was because he was afraid that Ji Meixian would see through his relationship with Bai Yuyu and the two girls. Even if he wanted to use his devil arts, he had to use them when Ji Meixian was the most confident to catch her off guard. Facing ordinary people, she might be able to easily win against them, but Ji Meixian was a ranker from the heaven realm. It would be best if he could take care of someone with her strength when she was at her most alert, and catch her by surprise. This was all thanks to Bai Yuyu's experience in using these devilish arts. She had been through trials and tribulations. Ji Meixian was very surprised. She never thought that Chen Shang could actually learn Bai Yuyu's devil arts to such an extent. Furthermore, when they were used against people, they were all used to the same degree as Bai Yuyu. She never thought that Bai Yuyu would spread these devil arts to others. She had heard that some of the powerful devils of the heavenly demon realm, who used all their wealth, could not even exchange them for one of her devil arts. But this little brat Chen Shang actually released 3 at once. Relying on the immortal bird's bloodline in her body could quickly recover. At most, she would be able to endure a little more pain, and after a long time, Chen Zhang's energy would be completely depleted. At that time, it would still be her who won. Ji Meixian dropped to the ground. There were no bones in his body, and all of his meridians were broken. His body was covered with needle-sized holes, and he felt extremely cold. Lying on the ground, she looked at Chen Shang who was in the air and sneered coldly in her heart. She had the divine bird's bloodline in her body, so it would be difficult for humans to kill her. She was originally proud in her heart, but her expression suddenly changed, because Chen Shang did not continue attacking her. Instead, he was making hand seals and chanting an incantation. It's the heavenly dragon seal. Before, Chen Shang had already used it on her, causing her to suffer. She had muddled along in the heaven realm for so long, but she had never experienced this imperial dragon race's ultimate technique. Yet, she was beaten up by a human in the mortal realm twice. She did not know much about the heavenly dragon seal. She only knew that it was a very strong technique in the imperial dragon race, and it was very varied. It was said that there were 981 types of seals, and only a small number of the members in the imperial dragon race had the qualifications to learn them. So she had always been curious as to why Chen Shang, this human, was able to learn such a supreme secret method of the imperial dragon race. After Chen Shang formed the hand seal, the innate chi and mana from his entire body was sucked out, causing his entire being to fall from the sky, causing both Ji Meixian and Lan Kang to become shocked. They could see that Chen Shang used all his strength just now, and they could feel the immense power from his body, but right now, he had instantly been sucked out, so they could tell that Chen Shang had used a very powerful finishing move. Bang! Chen Zhang's body was powerless, his head knocking onto the ground, but his body was strong, so it was nothing to him, he was slowly recovering his strength. Suddenly, a circular array formation appeared in the sky. The circle was actually formed by a golden dragon, and many spirit grain in the array formation were also drawn by different colored dragons. At this moment, this dragon mark royal cloak formation was madly devouring the surrounding spiritual energy. There were a lot of rocks floating in the air, all of which were absorbed into the formation. Even some of the mountains nearby were pulled out one by one and flew into the formation. If it were not for Lan Kang protecting the forest, all the trees inside would have been pulled out. Several mountains of various sizes were uprooted like grass, entering the massive dragon mark great formation from all directions. The surrounding spiritual energy turned into a large white river, all surging over. The spirit energy had actually turned into liquid and was completely gathered within the formation. Even the person who was performing, Chen Shang, was stunned by this scene. He was a bit worried for Ji Meixian. If Ji Meixian was killed, he would lose a beautiful female slave. In the future, when he goes to the heaven realm, Ji Meixian would be of great use to him. Don't worry, she has that divine clothing, she won't die. Long Shui said indifferently. Seeing her imperial dragon race's secret killing technique being so shocking, she felt proud in her heart. Damn brat. Ji Meixian was at the bottom of the dragon mark great formation and saw countless mountains being sucked away with her own eyes. Hurry up and recover, Ji Meixian shouted anxiously in her heart. If she lost, she would be Chen Zhang's female slave. Ji Meixian was barely able to stand up. Just as he was about to escape from the area covered by the dragon mark great formation, a golden dragon suddenly appeared. The dragon mark great formation could accommodate a huge mountain, which meant that the dragon mark great formation was very big, and the golden dragon that came out from the formation was as big as a huge mountain. Now, Chen Shang finally understood the power of the 100 dragon holy seal. One after another, golden dragons descended from the dragon mark great formation with a thunder-like power and lightning-like speed. Furthermore, every golden dragon had 2 times the power of the previous one. Ji Meixian was submerged within the energy that exploded after the golden dragon smashed down. Lightning and flames interweaved together and became extremely violent. This kind of power was actually very similar to Chen Zhang's fire and thunder dragon soul. 875. Golden dragons came one after another, their roars shaking the entire sky. Golden light flashed in all directions, and at the same time, golden lightning danced around. It was like a gigantic electric net that enveloped the entire world. Although he was a dragon who had evolved step by step, he still knew that the secret method Chen Shang used was from the imperial dragon race. 100 dragon holy seal, 100 dragon strike, each dragon's strength is 2 times that of the previous ones. By the 100th time, it might even be able to destroy the heavens and the earth. However, Chen Zhang's strength was still unable to reach the level of 100 dragons. It was only 10 dragons, but they had created an additional unfathomable sky ditch on the ground. Did I win? Chen Shang muttered as he stood by the side of the large hole that was several hundred meters wide, looking at the bottomless pit. That woman wouldn't have turned to dust, right? Chen Shang was extremely worried. In his eyes, Ji Meixian was worth a lot, much more than any immortal medicine. He took out the heavenly blood contract, but what made him feel at ease was that Ji Meixian's master-servant contract had already merged with him, and at this moment, he could feel that Ji Meixian's weak life force was gradually becoming stronger. In the deep pit, a weak gold light suddenly appeared. Upon closer inspection, it was Ji Meixian floating up slowly, and the protective divine clothes appeared outside her body. She had already fainted. Haha, elder sister Yu, in the future, this woman can help you wash your feet. Chen Shang couldn't help but laugh, then ate a few pills to recover his innate chi and at the same time, strengthen his exhausted soul. Su Meiyao and Bai Yu heaved a sigh of relief. As long as Ji Meixian was alive, she was not at ease. She had many enemies in the heaven realm previously, but only Ji Meixian could find them easily and place them in constant danger. Now, this woman had already become Chen Zhang's female slave, and was no longer a threat to them. With the relationship between Chen Shang and them, Ji Meixian still had to listen to their orders. It was better than killing Ji Meixian. Yu Yi Immortal Fairy, who was originally a high and mighty Yu Yi Immortal Fairy, would have to serve the two of them in the future. When they thought about this scene, a beautiful smile appeared on both of their faces. Brat, look, I borrowed a place to fight and now you're causing this. You've caused me to die. Lan Kang ran over and shouted at Chen Shang with a miserable look on his face, as if he was worried about something. Killed you. This place has always been a ruin, so what's the big deal? Chen Shang placed the unconscious Ji Meixian on the ground and fed her a relive Dan, allowing her to recover even faster. God damn, I also know this place is no big deal. I also wanted to destroy this place a long time ago, but I promised someone that I would help him look after this place. I don't want this place to be destroyed, because this is the place he was born in. Lan Kang glared at Chen Shang, and started pacing back and forth by the side of the pit. Just fill it in, you're a dragon, so this matter won't trouble you. Chen Shang laughed, he did not know the seriousness of the situation. As the person you are talking about Wu Kanghong, I know him, if he blames me for it, you can just say I did it. Quote. This place was the super old sacred land, the birthplace of the human royal family, so Chen Shang thought so. Bullshit, can Wu Kanghong, this brat, control me? His grandfather's grandfather's grandfather even has to kowtow to me when he sees me. Lan Kang's words scared Chen Shang silly. Wu Kanghong's strength was not weak at all. He had already went to the heaven realm 100,000 years ago, so the strength he had now could be imagined. Furthermore, he had cultivated the same divine way as, so he definitely had a certain position in the heaven realm. Then, who can order you around, big brother? Chen Shang had already planned to slip away. This super old sacred land had many secrets in the first place, and only this place was safe. Moreover, this place was like a great world. Wu Kanghong's ancestor. Lan Kang's face darkened, a blue light flickered in her eyes as she looked at Chen Shang sinisterly. Chen Shang quickly thought of something. According to what Lan Kang had said, the royal family of that person must be an ancient power, like the Tong Tian aristocratic family. Previously, he was curious as to why there were no ancient powers in the mortal martial realm. So there were actually those, the mortal king clan of the continent of the king. Then can Big Brother apologize to him for me? Chen Shang forced out a smile. Then what should I do? Lan Kang said snappily. If he's still alive, then his strength must be very strong. Naturally, he wouldn't care about such a small thing. He definitely won't chase you down. Chen Shang said. Bullsh*t. That old fellow likes to fuss over nothing. What else do I have to be afraid of? Lan Kang felt a headache coming on. If he had known earlier, he would not have lent this place to beat Chen Shang up or drive him to other places. Chen Zhang's eyes turned as he suddenly thought of a good idea. He giggled and said, Brother Lan, looking at your dragon power, you should be cultivating the thunder power, right? You're really amazing, there are very few lightning-attributed dragons. Don't try to get close with me. This trick is useless. You have to be responsible for this trap, you have to fill it in. No, it's not you, it's you and this human girl. Lan Kang rolled his eyes at Chen Shang, and said while hugging his chest. Chen Shang never thought that the 100-dragon holy seal would actually be able to create such a big pit. If they were to fill it up, it would definitely take a long time, and they would also have to move some huge mountains to fill it. For him, that would be extremely dangerous. He took out a Leihan fruit, and these kinds of fruits contain Thunder Soul. He had used a Fire Dragon Blood Lotus seed last time to exchange for a gold mountain, and it could be said that he had used a grain of sand to exchange for a gold mountain. The Leihan fruit looked like a transparent pearl, inside it flickered a flame with electric wire coiling around it, and when the electric wire was activated, one could clearly feel the terrifying thunder power inside. The Leihan fruit quickly attracted Lan Kang's attention, staring at him intently, as if it wanted to swallow the Leihan fruit whole. This is, Thunder Soul, where did you get this from? Lan Kang was very unhappy. Why would such a good thing appear in front of a human brat like Chen Shang? This was simply a waste of heaven's treasure. I picked it up, and gave you a chance to exchange with me for this Leihan fruit, but you need to have something good. Chen Shang laughed, he knew that Lan Kang would definitely not let go of this chance. Thunder Souls were extremely important to him, he had evolved from a snake to a monster, he wanted to one day suppress Imperial Dragon race, so he thirsted for power. You have to fill this hole before I'm willing to exchange. Chen Shang smiled craftily, He was not lacking in Leihan fruit if he could get some good stuff, it would be worth a lot. 876. She was actually very calm. At this moment, she could feel the power of the master-servant contract, and if Chen Shang was willing, she could be tortured to death at any time. She was currently trying her best to accept this cruel reality. When she was in the heaven realm, although she was chased out of the imperial feather race, she made a name for herself with her own strength, being called Yi Immortal Fairy by others. Many of the big shots of the heaven realm had to curry favor with her, but after being heavily injured and almost dying, she had no choice but to rebirth and come to the mortal realm. She wanted to commit suicide now and undergo rebirth again. However, Chen Shang would never let her die. The master-servant contract had a lot of power. If she wanted to die, Chen Shang would feel that it was possible to stop her even from 108,000 miles away. Lan Kang looked at the Leihan fruit in Chen Zhang's hands, and wanted to snatch it away using a barbaric method. However, he was a good dragon, even though Chen Shang was a black-hearted little bastard in his eyes, but he still had a good impression of Chen Shang. Honestly speaking, my strength has been sealed by an old man. If I were to fuse with this Thunder Soul, I would definitely be able to unseal it. I really need it, Lan Kang said. He had lived for a long time, his strength was definitely not weak, it was just that he was helplessly sealed, which caused his strength to be equivalent to the peak of the human nirvana stage. If I had unsealed it, it would have been much easier to fill the pit. Lan Kang said again. Chen Shang laughed. This is for the best, big brother, have you thought of something to exchange with me? Brother. He's already called Big Brother, and he still wants to trade. Lan Kang secretly despised Chen Shang. Although he stayed here all day, he had interacted with many humans before, so he was very clear on the value of this Thunder Soul. He had always wanted to find something like this. However, the reason why Chen Shang was willing to trade with him now, was all because of the good relationship between them. Otherwise, who would be so stupid as to trade the Leihan fruit for something else? Lan Kang thought so. Lan Kang walked back and forth, obviously thinking about what he wanted to exchange with Chen Shang. Chen Shang laughed. Are you hesitating about what to trade with me? Brother Lan, it looks like you're quite wealthy. Why don't you take out some of the best items for me so that I don't have to worry about it? I'm not going to do anything stupid like that. Don't you know you don't want to show it? If I get targeted by a black-hearted little bastard like you, I won't be able to sleep well. Lan Kang immediately shook his head. Ji Meixian slowly stood up. The gold divine robe was kept inside her body, her current expression was a little haggard, her arrogance had weakened by quite a bit, and she currently had a different kind of charm, causing Chen Shang to repeatedly nod his head. He had gained another beautiful female slave, but this female slave was something that he used his strength to conquer. Smile for me, Chen Shang laughed and shouted. Ji Meixian turned his head, grunted, and did not do as she said. Chen Shang knew that this female slave would only listen to him after she had been taught a good lesson. For things like this, he would leave it to Su Meiyao and the others. Ji Meixian was also captivated by the Leihan fruit in Chen Zhang's hands. She realized that the things that Chen Shang possessed were definitely things that neither Su Meiyao nor Bai Yu could give him. Chen Shang touched her beautiful and mature face, but there was a trace of coldness on her jade face, and laughed. As long as you are obedient and follow me, I will make you drink spicy wine, I guarantee that you will be better than me in White Sea Imperial Land. What he said was the truth. For a rich pill user like him, eating high-level pills was like eating sugar beans, and Long Shui, this little white dragon, was made into a big breast by him. I will give you some of my more precious items to choose from. You can only choose one of them. Lan Kang said with a heavy tone, I can't choose too many. After Lan Kang finished speaking, he took out 4 things. One of them was a pearl that emitted a dense amount of vitality, and with one look, one could tell that it was the beast core of a strong beast, even more so than the dragon pearl that he had obtained previously. The second item was a horn. This horn was 10 feet long and looked very sturdy. It should be something from a beast's body. This is the sacred horned dragon's horn. Ji Meixian cried out in alarm, and the 3 women inside the ring also recognized the item at the same time. That's right, this horn can become very large. Being able to grow it to the size of a mountain is a very good thing. Lan Kang said. Chen Shang felt that Lan Kang's origins were not small. If he wasn't sealed, he would definitely be strong, and the beast core and dragon horn was definitely something he had obtained himself. Seeing this, Ji Meixian frowned and said, it's a deity spirit, a type of spirit body with a very strong spirit power. If you tame it, you can control this spirit body, and can go up to heaven and hell, and go into the ocean to inspect some things for yourself. You human girl, you know quite a lot of things. You guys were fighting to the death before, how are you going to reconcile now? Could it be that you two are husband and wife, having a fight at the head of the bed? Lan Kang was suddenly curious. She lost, she's going to be my slave. Chen Shang laughed, causing Ji Meixian to wave her jade palm, wanting to slap her, but thinking that she was Chen Zhang's female slave, in order to avoid being tortured by her soul, she had no choice but to put her hand down. Lan Kang smiled and gave Chen Shang a big thumbs up. The last item was a large, square jade box. When Chen Shang opened it, a blood-red light flashed and a dense blood qi leaked out from the box. There was a small blood dragon inside, half of it buried in the blood soil. This is blood ginseng, holy level dragon medicine. Ji Meixian was so shocked that her beautiful face paled. The holy level dragon medicine, even in the heaven realm could make many big shots go bankrupt in exchange. Furthermore, it was the rarest blood ginseng. Without waiting for Su Meiyao to speak, Chen Shang threw the Leihan fruit over to Lan Kang. I want this. Chen Shang was the alchemist, so as long as the blood ginseng was in his hands, he could copy it and enlarge its value infinitely. This is truly out of my expectations. You actually want this broken root? I thought you might want that celestial spirit or the horn of a holy horned dragon. Lan Kang was also very happy that he had obtained the Leihan fruit. To be honest, I think I'll take them all. Chen Shang was also very happy at the same time, because Su Meiyao had told him just now that this blood ginseng was the main ingredient to recover their strength, and it was much more precious than the jade dragon flower. Lan Kang quickly kept the things. He felt that he had earned a lot from this exchange. The blood ginseng was useless to him. However, it was extremely useful to humans. Blood ginseng could only grow from absorbing the dragon's blood essence from the blood dragon, and later on, it could absorb the spirit energy of heaven and earth to produce the most powerful dragon blood. Could it be that this guy has evolved into a blood dragon? But it doesn't look like a blood dragon. Long Shui mumbled. When she saw the blood ginseng, she also found it hard to believe, because this kind of thing had not appeared in the imperial dragon race for a long time. 877. Although the jade dragon flower was rare, its value was not as good as the blood ginseng. On one hand, the success rate of refining pellets was not high in the jade dragon flower, so if it was consumed directly, the usage would not be as great as the blood ginseng. Once a ranker directly eats a blood ginseng, their body would become extremely strong, and would produce a strong blood. They would possess a strong power, and if they had a very serious injury, eating them would help. Blood dragons are dragons with powerful bodies. These types of dragons can only appear through evolution, and normally only the imperial dragon race's dragons can evolve into blood dragons, but that's a once-in-a-million-year experience. This blue dragon is a snake, it's not easy to evolve into a blood dragon. Long Shui was extremely suspicious. Chen Shang saw that Lan Kang was full of smiles, and asked, Brother Lan, where did the person you asked to guard here go? Lan Kang pointed in a direction and said, over there, this place is definitely not a normal place. Even if I broke the seal to recover my strength, I wouldn't dare to barge inside. Over the years, there have been many powerful old bastards who have entered this place. There is even one that hates people so much that he actually sealed my strength. In the future, I must find him and give him a few fierce slaps. Quote, I'm going to fuse with this thunder soul, I'll take my time to see you out. Next time I come, don't come fighting around here. Lan Kang warned her as she turned into a blue light, entering the forest. Chen Shang took out the Luotian gate and spatial orbs, opened the spatial door, and left with Ji Meixian, the beautiful slave that he had just obtained. They arrived at the forest in the middle of the bloody Thunder Mountain Sea. The trees here were all very huge, and the last time a space warcraft appeared here, it specially lured a few rankers to be their food. However, they were killed later on, and Chen Shang also obtained the spatial bead at that time. He found a huge tree and poked his finger into a small hole in the trunk. A door opened. What is this place? Ji Meixian could not help but ask. Left his medicine garden there. It's safer there, your injuries have not recovered yet, I have to help you heal them. The last time Chen Shang came was when he was with Hua Shangyu, and at that time, he had even met Li Tianjin's disciple, Li Baojun. Are you really Li Tianjin's successor? Ji Meixian had suspected it before, but now, he actually knew about the medicine garden that Li Tianjin had left behind. Chen Shang laughed, not entirely. Then, he used the key to open the stone door, and entered a medicinal garden that was filled with dense spirit energy. Many of the medicinal herbs were taken by Chen Shang, and only a few supplementary herbs remained. Seeing the cave from underground, Ji Meixian could not help but exclaim at Li Tianjin's methods. Let me tell you, although I'm your woman, slave, but this does not mean that you can violate me as you wish. If you have any feelings for me, I will not let you succeed no matter what. Ji Meixian's voice was ice cold. This was what she was most worried about. She had already been violated by Chen Shang once before, and even though he had only touched her body once, he had caused her to harbor such hatred until now. Also, if you have the ability in the future, you must help me find my apron. Chen Shang said. Only now did Chen Shang realize that the undergarment was actually so precious to Ji Meixian. It seems like she did not do this just to make that divine robe complete. That's what my mother left me. Ji Meixian sighed softly, his tone sounded somewhat sorrowful. Chen Shang took out the undergarment and threw it over. Take it. When Ji Meixian received it, she was stunned. It had actually been in Chen Zhang's hands the entire time, but why couldn't she feel it? Furthermore, she was actually played by Chen Shang for a long time, which angered her to the point that she stomped her foot. Didn't you say that you lost it in the rough and random profound land? Ji Meixian carefully examined the snow-white undergarment. It was not damaged in the slightest. Thinking back then when Chen Shang had said that it was lost, he spoke as if he was speaking the truth. I lied to you, Chen Shang laughed, but I really went deep into the rough and random profound land and saw countless of them. In the end, I touched a formation and was teleported out. Ji Meixian bullied her in her chest and breathed deeply for a long time, only then was she able to calm down. If Chen Shang wasn't her master, she would have already fought with her life on the line with Chen Shang, and actually made her worry for such a long time. This apron is extremely important to me. I worry about not being able to find it at all times. I've cried many times in the night, you little bastard. As Ji Meixian spoke, he started crying. Chen Shang rubbed his nose, then used his hands to wipe her tears away. Don't cry anymore, didn't you find me now? So what, didn't you become your slave? Ji Meixian felt extremely helpless at the moment. The feeling of being wronged and sorrowful filled her heart, making her unable to control it and causing her to start crying loudly. Chen Shang took out the image crystal and gave it back to Ji Meixian. When she saw it, she cried even more. At this moment, Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu came out. The two of them wore the same purple dress. Su Meiyao was charming and alluring, carried a threatening aura. Bai Yuyu's cold and elegant temperament allowed her to travel thousands of miles, but when she looked at Chen Shang, her eyes carried a hint of gentleness, causing her beautiful eyes to look like two pearls within an iceberg that emitted warmth. Ji Meixian stopped crying because she felt a very familiar aura. She turned around and saw the two familiar faces from back then. You all. Ji Meixian hurriedly wiped away her tears. She did not want Ji Meixian and Bai Yuyu to see her weak side. You ye immortal fairy, long time no see. Back then, you chased after us many times, but who would have thought that today you would end up like this? Retribution. Bai Yuyu was beautiful and cold, her voice cold and filled with incomparable killing intent. She hated Ji Meixian to the core. Ji Meixian took a small breath and regained his calm demeanor. You guys are seriously injured. I'm afraid this kind of injury is not something that can be cured with normal immortal pills. At this moment, Ji Meixian had thought of many things. She had already guessed that Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu would have to depend on Chen Shang to recover their strength. Although Chen Shang still had some time before he reached that stage, it would just be a matter of time. Little scoundrel, it must be difficult to subdue this woman. You must have worked hard. Su Meiyao smiled coquettishly as she walked over to Chen Zhang's side. She pinched Chen Zhang's handsome face and held him in an extremely dubious manner, her face actually full of coquettish and sweet smiles, like a girl in love. This made Ji Meixian dumbstruck. She never thought that the relationship between Su Meiyao and himself would actually reach such a level. 878. Ji Meixian looked at Bai Yuyu carefully. Bai Yuyu was no longer the one she was familiar with, especially when she was looking at Chen Shang. Her eyes were filled with tenderness, and this made her wonder if Chen Shang had grasped some powerful soul-reaping technique that could actually change these two women so much. Especially for Bai Yuyu, she no longer had that heartless smell, and could tell that she no longer trained in the ruthless magic. You gave up the ruthless magic? This really surprises me. Ji Meixian didn't seem to have any hostility towards Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu, as if he was talking to an old acquaintance. And Bai Yu, on the other hand, were different. Although Su Meiyao and Chen Shang were stuck together, their eyes were filled with hatred when they looked at Ji Meixian. You heal first. Chen Shang tossed a pellet of relive Dan to Ji Meixian and Ji Meixian received it with one hand before he digested the medicinal power. Now that she knew who taught Chen Shang the pill refining skills, she could guess that Chen Shang had a powerful treasure that could make Su Meiyao and Bai Yu stay inside. From the very beginning, her identity as a Yuyi immortal fairy was known to Chen Shang. She was currently feeling very unhappy, because she felt that she had been tricked by Chen Shang and the two women from the very beginning. Why have you been looking for our master? Bai Yu coldly asked. The reason Ji Meixian chased them was to force the old devil Wuqing out. If I told you, you might not believe me. There is a misunderstanding between us, but now I am this brat's female slave. I don't think there is any hatred between us anymore. Ji Meixian closed his eyes to refine the pill, and said indifferently. Speak. Su Meiyao really wanted to know the reason behind all of this, and even more so, wanted to know the misunderstanding between the two of them. The heartless old devil was my uncle, but because he cultivated the ruthless magic, he became bloodthirsty. Later on, I heard that he died, but I don't believe that with that kind of strength, he won't die. Quote. Ji Meixian's words truly made Su Meiyao and Bai Yu unable to believe it. They were the disciples of the heartless old devil and didn't know that the heartless old devil had a niece. He once took care of me for a period of time and my relationship with him is extremely good. It's just that I never thought that the ruthless magic would actually make him into a devil. Ji Meixian sighed. Judging from her sorrowful expression, she did not seem to be lying. I've chased you all around the heaven realm for so long, but I've never succeeded in killing you all. Do you really think that I'm the one who can't defeat you all? Ji Meixian asked with a cold smile. Hey, have a better attitude, you're my slave now. Chen Shang scolded. Also, you have to wash their feet in the future. Ji Meixian trembled in anger, her entire body trembling. She actually wanted to help the two girls wash their feet. That's right, you have been chasing us for so many years. There have been many times where you have succeeded. Bai Yu thought back to everything that had happened that year and truthfully replied. I am quite famous in Heaven Realm. As long as others know that I was the one who was chasing and killing you, your enemies would not dare to compete with me. Do you think with your two girls' abilities, you can take care of those guys your master provoked? Ji Meixian asked. This caused Chen Shang to be shocked. The heartless old demon actually brought two delicate female disciples to cause trouble everywhere, making enemies everywhere in the family. Su Meiyao and Bai Yu looked at each other, they had become silent. When Ji Meixian was chasing them, their other enemies did not dare to interfere, as they had to give way to Ji Meixian. This made it difficult for them to accept it. The reason Ji Meixian was chasing them was to protect them, and even though it looked like he was going after them, they couldn't catch him. And Ji Meixian did not dare to accept them, because that would only cause Ji Meixian to be implicated as well. Chen Shang really wanted to know what kind of enemies these two women had gotten into, to actually sound so scary. After all, your master is my uncle, and you are his disciples. Naturally, I have to take care of you. Ji Meixian was still fuming inside. To think that she was so wise, to think that she had actually been tricked by a little kid and became his female slave. He still did not know what would happen in the future that she could not bear. Forget it, let bygones be bygones. Chen Shang laughed. Ji Meixian was truly capable, if not he would not be able to get so familiar with the heaven realm. Wait until we go to the sacred Dan realm and obtain the truth stone. If we confirm that what you have said is true, we will kowtow to you in apology before breaking the contract. Bai Yu said. At the moment, she no longer held so much hatred towards Ji Meixian, as what had happened in the past was already in the past. Moreover, Ji Meixian had now become Chen Zhang's female slave. Chen Shang muttered. How can that be? I had a hard time accepting her as a slave. Quote. Su Meiyao scoffed. You don't lack female slaves, if what she says is the truth, then let her go. No need, that's a death contract. It can't be broken. Ji Meixian's face turned cold. If she had thought that the current situation would happen, she would not have signed the death contract, because she only knew of master-servant contract. Chen Shang was secretly happy, but his face was full of regret. He said righteously, don't worry, if what you said is the truth, I will think of all the ways and means to remove master-servant contract from your side. But she is still my slave. Hee, don't worry, I won't violate you, but you have to listen to me. Quote. Master's background is very mysterious. We never knew that he had a sister, much less a niece like you. Su Meiyao frowned, and thought back to what her master had told them. Of course, she came from Imperial Feather Race, her identity must be kept a secret. Chen Zhang's words caused Ji Meixian to open his eyes abruptly and wait for him in shock. How did you know I was from the Imperial Feather Race? Other than the few old fellows from Imperial Feather Race and my parents, no one else knows about it. Even my uncle doesn't. Ji Meixian was very surprised, because even in the Heaven Realm, those who knew of her were very few in number, let alone those who knew that she was from there. Ji Meixian quickly thought of the other secrets that Chen Shang had, such as the Heavenly Dragon Seal and the Green Dragon Demon Slain Broadsword. Enough, hurry up and treat her injuries. With that relived Dan, it will be difficult for her to recover. Long Shui's voice sounded, and purposely carried a profound tone, as though he was a master who lived beyond this world. Seeing that little naughty dragon was putting on an act again, Chen Shang really wanted to drag her out and knead her fiercely. Who are you? Ji Meixian was shocked again. It was indeed difficult for the relived Dan to let her recover, and that Heavenly Dragon Seal had heavily injured her. Who am I? Remember this well. I am the first Dragon Emperor of the Primordial Era, the one who established the Emperor Dragon's sacred domain in the 10th heaven, the one who ruled over the 9th heaven for 300,000 years. I am an ancestral dragon and I have already half a foot into the dragon god realm. Long Shui said a long string of smelly words. If someone who was not familiar with her was not there, they would really be tricked. The dragon race's bragging emperor is more or less the same. Chen Shang muttered in his heart. 879. Everyone calls me Heavenly Dragon Supreme Lord. Heavenly Dragon Seal is my entertainment, but it's more than enough to deal with a feathered bird like you. Long Shui continued to brag. In any case, bragging didn't require a sum of money, not to mention that she, Imperial Dragon Race, was born with a feud with Imperial Feather Race. Su Meiyao could not help but chuckle. When he was in the Serene Jade Ring, Long Shui often played around like this. Although this little girl was a pure white dragon from the Imperial Dragon Race, she did not respect their ancestor in the slightest. She spent her days fantasizing about trampling all of the old dragons from the Imperial Dragon Race beneath her feet, unifying the dragon race, and then becoming the next generation of Dragon Emperor. This place was extremely safe, and Long Shui herself was not weak either. She also left the Serene Jade Ring and appeared before Ji Meixian's eyes. She wore a snow-white dress, and her exquisite oval face was filled with mischievous expressions. She looked extremely cute, but if she were to get serious, she would be very beautiful and had an alluring charm to her. Of course, the most attractive part of her body was not only her pretty little face, there was also her towering chest. There was a sharp contrast to her delicate body, yet it was extremely harmonious. Bai Long. Ji Meixian immediately frowned and retreated a few steps, full of hostility. That's right, I am a sacred white dragon. Back then, I fought fiercely with the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord for 3 days and 3 nights, and in the end, he coincidentally won half a move and took the throne away, and his soul was even almost shattered into pieces. When I woke up, countless years had already passed, and the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord had already fallen. Long Shui sighed softly. Chen Shang knocked on her head fiercely. Stop pretending, even little kids don't believe you. Little scoundrel, if it wasn't for this dragon, would you have been able to subdue her? Long Shui scratched his head and muttered. I still underestimated you. With Imperial Dragon Race's Bai Long by your side, it's no wonder you know so many things, and also understand Heavenly Dragon Seal. I'm afraid you have already grasped many of Imperial Dragon Race's secret techniques. Ji Meixian looked at Long Shui. She had stayed in the Heaven Realm for a long time, but this was the first time she saw a member of the Imperial Dragon Race. Of course, your Imperial Avian Race is way worse than my Imperial Dragon Race. Long Shui said in high spirits. HMPH, I'm not from Imperial Feather Race. Don't associate me with him. Ji Meixian said. You are scoundrel's female slave now. If Imperial Avian Race knew, he would definitely come and snatch you away. Long Shui laughed. Wrong. If they knew, they would definitely kill me. They definitely cannot let their bloodline suffer such humiliation. Ji Meixian's voice became cold, and his eyes filled with resentment. Long Shui was not the least bit worried. If you have the guts, then let them come. In the future, I will join hands with little scoundrel, and not just Imperial Avian Race, even Imperial Dragon Race, and those old fellows will be beaten until the ground falls, right, Scoundrel Emperor? When did you give me this bullshit name? Chen Shang pinched the tender flesh of Long Shui's face. Long Shui slapped Chen Zhang's hands away, and said to Ji Meixian in a serious tone, "Now you have a chance to work with me, the future unparalleled Dragon Emperor. As long as you are willing to work hard, I will definitely help you unravel the Imperial Avian race's bird nest in the future, bestowing you the title of Undying Golden Peng's slave as the chief of the Undying Golden Rock." In the beginning, it was even more interesting, but later on, she started to ramble on again. Chen Shang directly gave her a fruit, letting her, the greedy emperor, nibble on it. The small craving dragon did not change its surname. Seeing such a good fruit, it could not help but take big bites of it. As it chewed on it, it blew on its skin, unable to speak clearly. "I finished eating. Quickly tell me how to treat her wounds." Chen Shang rubbed Long Shui's face and asked. "Use your blood or Eternal Dan. Which do you choose?" Long Shui said as he struggled out of Chen Zhang's grasp and walked to Ji Meixian's side. He then turned to Ji Meixian's side in interest and pulled at Ji Meixian's clothes, wanting to see that set of divine robe. Ji Meixian had indeed been intimidated by Long Shui in the beginning, but now, in her eyes, Long Shui was just a mischievous little girl. However, what Long Shui had said was that she had always wanted to tear off Imperial Feather Race's bird nest, but that was extremely difficult to do. However, with Chen Shang and his help, it was still possible for her to do that in the near future. "Why are you in mortal realm?" Su Meiyao placed a hand on Ji Meixian's chest, inspecting her injuries, causing her expression to become grave. Ji Meixian was indeed heavily injured. They were beaten up by the experts of the Imperial Feather Race. They wanted to kill me at first because I threatened them with my power. At that time, there were more than 10 of your enemies. When Ji Meixian mentioned about this, his face was full of anger. She looked at Long Shui and asked, "Your white dragon's status isn't low in the Imperial Dragon race, and why are you here in the mortal realm?" "How should I know? I guessed that my parents were probably persecuted by the old undead of the Imperial Dragon race, which was why they opened an opening and threw me out of the mortal realm. Anyway, the old dragons of the Imperial Dragon race are not good people, sooner or later I will exterminate them." Long Shui also really wanted to know his own life, but there wasn't any in his inherited memories. "Little scoundrel, if you think about your new female slave so that you can hurry, you can either bleed or take out that Eternal Dan." Long Shui was also checking on Ji Meixian's injuries. The Eternal Dan could not be handed over. He did not have many pellets now, so he could only let out some blood. His blood recovered very quickly, it didn't matter how much he put away. He took out a jade bottle, used the green dragon demon slain broadsword to cut open his wrist and started to release the powerful blood. This was because there was the blood of the jade dragon inside it. If it mixed with the blood of the undead bird, Ji Meixian's recovery would be even faster. "After your injuries have healed, you will let you return to the White Sea Imperial land and continue to stay there. Then, you will help me swindle the 50 bounty rewards. Now, they are probably going to increase the bounty," Chen Shang said while letting out blood. He smiled and said, "And we can't let go of the Feng clan's relive Dan as well." Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu were originally sophisticated masters, coupled with the knowledge provided by Long Shui, many old fellows had already fallen into his hands. However, Ji Meixian still found it hard to understand what method Chen Shang used to kill hundreds of experts overnight in Pill City, and there were also many experts whose strength far surpassed his. All of them had died in Chen Zhang's hands. However, she believed that she would find out the secret very soon. Right now, she was completely under Chen Zhang's control, so even if she found out some secrets, it wouldn't be a big deal. "Drink it. Since you hate me so much, you should be able to vent your hatred by drinking my blood, right?" Chen Shang laughed. Ji Meixian borrowed it and took a big gulp without hesitation. She didn't know why Long Shui had caused her and Chen Shang to lose so much blood previously, but she immediately understood now. She drank the whole bottle of blood in one gulp. Her recovery speed was so fast that it was hard for her to understand. 880. The undead bird bloodline and Chen Zhang's Yulong blood had the same unique property. When the two combined, it produced a strange effect. However, she still could not understand how Chen Shang could recover so quickly after drinking his blood. She looked at Chen Shang with a face full of suspicion. The wound on Chen Zhang's wrist that was bleeding had already healed. Seeing Ji Meixian's expression, he felt very uncomfortable in his heart. He had just personally seen this woman, who hated him to the core, drink his blood. "You've almost recovered. Don't think about my blood anymore," Chen Shang said. Actually, He also wanted to try and see what effect the fusion had on Jimexian. The speed at which she recovered from her injuries could be said to be her own god's speed. If she could fuse with the kind of bloodline in Chen Zhang's body, then she might be invincible under the heavens. Her bloodline would be even stronger than the undying bird. If it was in the past, she would probably think of ways to fuse Chen Zhang's bloodline with it. But she was only a female slave of Chen Shang now, and there was simply no chance at all. You should know how formidable the powerful bloodline is. I'll tell you what kind of bloodline it is. That's the Yulong blood that I helped this little scoundrel find. As long as you follow me, you'll benefit a lot in the future. Long Shui said with an arrogant face. Go to the side, the Yulong blood that I obtained doesn't seem to have much to do with you. Chen Shang looked at her in disdain. It was the Supreme Heavenly Dragon Supreme Lord's, luck that brought you such a powerful object. Long Shui said proudly, as if that was the truth. Jimexian let out a long sigh. She never thought that Chen Shang would actually have a Yulong blood. If he fused the two, it would be much better. Little maid, if you want to obtain Yulong blood, there is a very good way, which is to dual cultivate with this little scoundrel. Many female dragons of Imperial Dragon race would want to use this way to obtain Yulong blood, however, jade dragons generally do not fancy it. Long Shui's beautiful face carried an evil smile. Humph. Jimexian looked at Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu, and couldn't help but let her imagination run wild. She had heard the legends of the jade dragon before. If she could really get a Yulong blood, then she would become even stronger. At least in battle, when she was injured, she could quickly repair herself. Hey, this is something that's good for both of you. Through that method, your undead bird bloodline can also be transmitted to him, but it seems like this can only be accomplished after a few times of dual cultivation. At that time, little scoundrel also will have the undead bird bloodline, so this emperor can directly obtain the strongest bloodline from him, and adding my white dragon blood, haha, I will definitely become a supreme heavenly dragon supreme lord in the future. Long Shui laughed. Little pervert, stop dreaming. Chen Shang pinched her cheek. This is not a dream. This can indeed be achieved. If you don't believe me, you can start right away. Long Shui was not the least bit afraid of this matter as she felt that it was as normal as if she was eating. Jimexian's cold jade face slightly flushed. Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu seemed to have long gotten used to this crazy little dragon girl, as they only let out a light sigh. Alright, let's return to Pill City now. We'll think about it after we swindle White Sea Imperial land and the relived Dan away. Chen Shang looked at Jimexian and said, once everything is done, I'll see if the situation allows you to continue staying in White Sea Imperial land. Whatever. My life is not on my side right now. You have the final say. Although Jimexian said that, in her heart, she was extremely unwilling to listen to Chen Zhang's arrangements, but she could only accept it. I don't have any feelings for the White Sea Imperial land. If I wasn't more outstanding inside, I would have already been squeezed to death inside. You can do whatever you want with them. Chen Shang laughed. How can that work? You better stay in White Sea Imperial land, and when you become stronger and the White Sea Imperial land is under your control, I will be able to do whatever I want. Quote. That's right, as long as you dare to force the position of the leader with her, kill them all and let your little maid become the leader, the White Sea Imperial land would be under your control. Long Shui said. Jimexian had that thought right now. Jimexian was already his female slave, and this was a matter of getting nailed to a board. Moreover, Jimexian didn't dare to betray his master, as she was completely under Chen Zhang's control. Although Hua Shangyu and Dongfang Xinyue were both his female slaves, Chen Shang didn't control them. There weren't any restrictions on the master-servant contract, which was different from Jimexian's personality. I had this thought from the start. If I had you secretly assisting me, I would be able to live a better life in the White Sea Imperial land in the future. In order to make herself feel better in the future, Jimexian could only do this, but Chen Shang truly had a lot of power and grasped a lot of resources. I know that your ultimate goal is to recover your strength. As long as this kid reaches that level and refines those pills, the three of us will be able to recover our true strength. If you want to cultivate to your original strength, not only will it take a long time, you will also encounter many obstacles. Su Meiyao said. We'll head to Pill City first. As for the scam of the White Sea Imperial land and the Feng clan's relived Dan, I'll come find you after I've thought of a fooled plan. Chen Shang said. In order for Jimexian to be able to control the White Sea Imperial land in the future, he could not let Jimexian take the risk. Su Meiyao, Bai Yuyu and Long Shui entered the ring. Chen Shang brought Ji Meixian up there, opened a dimensional door, and went into the mountain forest outside of Pill City. Ji Meixian returned to the Pill City alone and set up a formation outside the city. In order to fool the relived Dan, he had to show himself first. For safety's sake, he had to set up a formation so that he wouldn't be able to escape when surrounded and attacked. First, I will create a cave abode, and then I will send people from the White Sea Imperial Land or the Feng clan to bring it here. The person who provides the clues can obtain 50 relived Dan, and as long as the clues are real, I can get them. Chen Shang decided to use the first method, which was to bring the person into this cave. He wanted to see how reliable Feng clan and the others could be when they told him how much the bounty was. In order to make people believe that Chen Shang had set up many arrays within the cave, these arrays were already a piece of cake for him. Furthermore, he had even placed some clothes that he had washed, as well as some aura of the dragon power. Alright, let's trap Feng clan first. If it's White Sea Imperial Land, then let's cooperate with him. Chen Shang left the cave. He planned to wait for a few days before heading back, because this cave looked too new.